Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles did not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material in use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law.
Next time someone tells you that they are Aboriginal or that black people was in America before slavery, know that you are talking to a crack baby who probably smoked crack as an adult too. Okay, so.
Mexicano bandido, todo el barrio prendido, siempre ando bien juido, siempre poniendo ruido. Mexicanos al grito de guerra, yo defiendo mi tierra, no me dejo de nadie, yo cuido a los míos, mi raza se aferra. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera, yo la levanto por donde quiera, verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera, el barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera, yo la levanto por donde quiera, verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera, el barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Me voy tendido, me voy empinando mi bote, un poco mareado por la bebida y el borlote, me tiene hasta la riata la gente con su mitote, pero me despreocupo, me pelan todo el garrote, me para la chota, ya es por mi apariencia, que hay tantos delitos, que hay tanta demencia, yo no cargo nada, no más mi presencia, pinche puerco joto, atente a las consecuencias, si no topa el boy en breve nos para en la calle, no puede salir uno conmigo porque ya hay detalle, no quiere que conteste, quiere que yo solo calle, quiere mi dinero pero que chinga su madre, a la dica este sistema nos quieren ver abajo, pero tumbar gente quien les dijo que es trabajo, puro chingar al indio, váyanse mucho al carajo, loco no me rajo, lo bueno porque
se armó la alianza más pesada del país, todo el mundo ya conoce las rimas de estos MCs, pa' ponerme más feliz, unos paisas de hachís, mis paisas en el gabacho bien truchas con la polis, loco en Guanajuato con los ojos bien tumbados, de coto con el quesada, rifando por todos lados, atentos si prendo un blunt, en cabina cuando grabo, represento Nuevo León, junto a mi carnal el Davo, cuando voy pa' Jalisco el pasado está olvidado, con el perro de la C bien grifo pedo y enfiestado, chécate mi banderón, unido como había soñado, bien bajado ese balón, compa lefty bien bajado, puro hip hop mexa, hasta que amanezca, pásenme un mezcal y que no se apague la yesca, ya saben que aquí andamos pilas pa' lo que se ofrezca, si escribo estas rimas es pa' que se enorgullezca.
verde marihuana, blanca cocaína, roja la sangre que escurre de una nueva herida. Yo salí de la ruina, nunca se me olvida, con disciplina y respeto sigo en siempre la movida. Ando bien high, la vida es un freestyle, disfruta lo que hay, vivo entre el bien y el mal, carnal, crazy life todo el día.
policía, piéndala y pinto tu barda con spray. Lo que canto es real. Azules y rojas las sirenas que me persiguen. No suben pa' la virgen, salen todos cuando chifle. Mi barrio no lo pisen, que andamos todos grises. Maldito policía, no quiero que me revises. Prende la mota en Canala o en Hitter. Ando con mi flota y el dealer. Tenemos lo que se te ofrezca, tú nada más pide. Me dijo mi madre que de la envidia me cuide.
Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera.
Ya, ábranse cabrones, llegó el mexicano partiendo sin necesidad de palanca. Todos jugamos en la misma liga, yo soy titular, tú ves desde la banca. Disfruto cada cosa que me pasa, colaboro y mi carrera se levanta. El mismo cabrón que antes no tenía nada, se la pasa viajando y dice que canta. Por eso me caga enfermarme de la garganta. Pero aguanta, traigo mata natural y humo de planta. 2, 3 cabrones dando lata y yo haciendo más plata. De esto la vida se trata y pa' que sepas no es barata. MC Davo los desbarata con cada escalón que sube. Yo tuve la suerte de hacerme fama en YouTube. Hay 2, 3 raperos de antaño que me bajé de su nube. Los mandé pa' su casa y de premio hasta les pagué el Uber. Si alguien me tira es porque sabe bien que domino el negocio y quiere de mi parte. No quiero darlas de grande, pero si me tiras la neta me toca humillarte. Soy capitán, llevo el estandarte. Somos muy pocos los que hacemos arte. Este flow si es de Marte, tú dale like y comparte.
México lindo y bandido, diario a Diosito le pido que me cuide a la familia si un día el cora ya no late. Estoy bendecido porque me cuidan los míos. Orgullosamente me exatamos locos de remate. Jaque mate, no hable de volar si viene gateando. La cosa por la frontera se pone violenta, no importa el rango. Toda la raza jalándole duro, si hay algo seguro es la muerte en donde ando. El sudor y la sangre en la frente, los de alzada controlando. Se roban la atención, ya saben quiénes son. Vatos locos con sazón como el de un corridón. No quiera tomarme el pelo si ando todo pelón. Levantando la bandera, viva México cabrón.
Es el perrito de la C. La bandera con un águila, Simón, mi tierra es esta. Me vale si mi piel o si mi acento les molesta. Acá jalan horas extras, nunca duermen la siesta. Están los que van pa'l jale y los que la viven de fiesta. Otros que en el pintón se tatúan de corazón. 3 colores en el pecho, morirían por su nación. Aunque su puto gobierno los puso en la situación de no terminar la escuela y terminar en la prisión. ¡Viva México, ladrones! ¿Qué hubo el expresidente? Ya saben que por mí policías chinguen a 20. Y ahí están mis 20 pa' la cagua. Agua, que es tierra caliente de Chiapas hasta Chihuahua. Bagua. Wow, Yipi-yo, Yipi-yucas, Guanas, Montequín, Aguas, Tijuas y San Lucas, San Luis Potoyes, Mataulipas, La Puebluca. Dime si o no loco, acá tienen lo que buscas.
Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera.
Puro hip hop mexa, perros, 2023.
Ey yo, ey yo.
Somos la santa carnal.
Los machigones de la plaza.
Oye, DJ donde que en los scratches. Desde alzada, mi perro. No saben quién soy o sí. Oye.
Viva México, cabrones.
That's Next time someone tells you that they are an aboriginal or that black people was in America before slavery, know that you are talking to a crack baby who probably smoked crack as an adult too. Okay? So
En la Plaza de Reyes, Black 50, Soplón. Yeah. ¿Qué vas a saber? ¿Qué vas a saber tú? Oye,
Oye, chibolito, falto miel. Pulpín de los pulpines, batería de Rapunzel, de rapeos, de raptos, de lagartos en cuartel. Cualquier la pega de cruel con un viejo coronel. Soy flujo, se me antojó dormirme en el laurel. Elevé mi level con un label y un Faber Castell. Ya un papel, lo empape con sangre de todo aquel que se jura Nobel y no ve mis trenes en la riel. What's so man? ¿Por qué no sacan la tabua? Juro por mis aguas que no te hablo por las powers. Soy chinchado neto, búscame por pico sour y te voy a meter al centro loco como Beckenbauer. Escúchame atento mi pro, que estamos rompiéndole en pro. El negro de Plaza de Reyes como siempre rompe de este micrófono. Que quiere meterle como yo pero no puede meterle tacoprón. Si te pensaba que solo era un gallo, déjame decirle que se equivocó. Real motherfucker feeling on the street. Es el black shit, black sea metal de Plaza de Kings. Motherfucker, so bloom.
Nero Luigi, man, desde Peña, a la victoria para que sepa. Incas Mo, it's money gang, gang, yeah, yeah, Yo también he llorado, gente. También me han desplazado por mi rasgo afrodescendiente. Sí, un perro no habla pero siente. Cuento historias callejeras pa' barrios de delincuentes. Soy un perro que te ladra, que te muerde y que te huele, nene. Soy más que Lele, ustedes para mí son pelele. Con mi jauría todo el día en busca de los cheles. Tengo un perro en fiscalía que nos mueve los papeles y otro en la comisaría para evitar el susto. Muchas veces me han llevado por solo como luzco. Perdón, madre mía, si yo le causé un disgusto, pero en esta vía yo crecí rodeado de perros chuscos. Yo sé que me quieren ganar, yo sé que me quieren tumbar y no pasará porque soy de verdad. La super rafina, la Dodo Style, metido en latina aprendiendo un style. Yo tengo el style, no mido la raza del perro, yo mido por la lealtad y yo soy leal, yeah. La calle te enseña lo que no te enseña la universidad, yeah. Saliste ese peña aquí con una seña, te tiran para atrás, yeah. La calle limeña aquí nadie la tenía, ya nada es igual, yeah. Tiene que respetar, yeah. Tiene que respetar, yeah. La calle te enseña lo que no te enseña la universidad, yeah. Saliste ese peña aquí con una seña, te tiran para atrás, yeah. La calle limeña aquí nada le doy, ya nada es igual, yeah. Tiene que respetar, yeah. Si yo soy tu papá, yeah, yeah, yeah. Cinco mob, negro, yeah. Cinco mob, nigga, yeah. Nero Luigi, man, Incas mob, yeah. It's money gang, 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 yeah.
Hey, yo. Yango en la maldita casa. Me llaman pa' que les dé al menos una vez al mes. Se metieron al lago y olvidaron que era el mes. For everybody bless. La fama es una puta, me está llamando a las 3.
Dile que llame después de las 16 y 25. Volví de la infancia de Abraham Lincoln. Con fuerza ya inco, luchando para salir del rincón. Letra callejera en CD brinco. Under del under, puede que tu viejo te lo mande. Sale de vez en cuando como el cóndor por los Andes. Mi cuerpo no es de madera como Dandy. Antes que me branden, yo seré el ola que los expande. Aunque esto me pique en la madera, no sirven ni para romper el ticket de un evento afuera. Loco por la carrera, desafían la gravedad. Yo espero tras la barrera y llego con la novedad. Niña, tú solo espera que ya encontré la manera. He visto bastante porque de lograrlo saltando escalones dentro de la escalera. La vida me puso al depósito, yo soy de púlpito pa' que el mundo conociéramos de esta parte mejor interprete que parido de esta cordillera. Sin luz afuera, que el espectáculo es dentro. La calle es mi templo, tiembla el pavimento. Cuando yo me concentro, mis disparos son temas. La calle un poema, se siente desde cuando entro. Y a toditos estos drogaditos que creen que rapean, los regreso al centro de mi balcón. Yo he visto el clown del clown en la misma gestión, pero a la malla no llega el balón. Y para esta pantalla no soy el patrón. Yo ya me sé la cuestión y doy fue por cada renglón. Consciente de la operación del final de Mbappé con la edad de bufón. De Yango en la maldita casa, Plaza de Rey y papá. El Nero Luigi, Black Cemental, hip hop peruano, rasgo en la maldita base.
Viene a decirnos con mucha firmeza y gran convencimiento lo mismo que nos decía en el siglo XVIII el barón de Holbach, ¿no? Un filósofo francés de origen alemán. Si nos remontamos al comienzo, entonces hallaremos que la ignorancia y el temor crearon a los dioses. La fantasía, el entusiasmo o el engaño los adornaron o desfiguraron. La debilidad les rinde culto, la credulidad los conserva La costumbre los respeta y la tiranía los apoya para que la ceguera de los hombres sirva a sus propios intereses.
All right. All right, fam. How you guys doing? What up, Lamishi? What up, old real? All praises. Thank you. Sis. Matter of fact, I'm glad you mentioned it. Because, sorry, my throat was hurting. I was drinking some water, and I guess it's not taking it away. The reason I chose those two videos is because it's talking about the two wars that had a major results, whichever were good or bad. You know what I'm saying? And we're at it again. I have this title here: Assimilated African Canaanites. Now, I'm doing this for a purpose. I've brought this material out to you guys before, and this is documented information. Okay, I've shared this with you. You can find it online. I don't know if you can order the book still, but I have the book, so I have the privilege to take a picture of it and show you the dates of what I'm talking about. Okay? So we're going to start it off with this here, because that is important. You're talking about the Mexican War. The big changes happened after that. And then, in 1492 or 15 and change. So now it brings us up to this point, September 7th, 1900. That's 125 years ago. 125 years ago and a month, in about a month. Okay? No, actually, no. About 125 years and, I don't know, 8 days. 8 days? We're not far from the 125th anniversary of this printing here. This is the Lutheran Witness printed, in that year. I've shared this material to you guys before, and I why do I stress it? I stress it because of what it's telling you. Whether you believe that God is like real or not, I'm not saying that, okay? This is history of our indigenous gente. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. These people, in that year, Dr. Francis S. Borden relates the following about the first Bible printed in Mexico. In the Christian Advocate, the printing press came to Mexico in 1539. However, some people want us to completely ignore that. So, I always ask people that claim that they are the original people from this land, then how come there's absolutely zero knowledge about this Christian compendium? Right? Now, keep this in mind, and I'm going to just get to the point here. So the printing press came to Mexico in 1539. For in that year, there was printed in Mexico in Spanish a brief compendium of Christian doctrine under the spouse of the famous Bishop Fray Juan de Zumarraga. That was just 81 years before the Mayflower brought the first pilgrims to Plymouth Bay. So I'm trying to make a point here, okay? From 1539 to 1810, when the immortal Hidalgo raised the cry of Mexican independence, or during the 271 years of Spanish rule or misrule in Mexico, Spain not only did not give Mexico a Bible, but sternly prohibited the publication of any part of the sacred scriptures in the language of the Mexican people. That prohibition is still enforced with regards to the printing of the Bible in any of the 52 different languages and dialects spoken in Mexico today. This is in September 7th, 1900. That's 125 years ago. $125 ago. And many people, because of those reasons, were illiterate. 1895 to 1921 records. So why is this important? Because if you don't know your history and you only fill shit in with, like you got gaps in your memory, you may just believe everything. So today I'm gonna go back and bring my, like straight so-called AK-47 verbally. You know what I mean? I have to bring back the history of what we're dealing with. So the Lutheran witness allows us to understand that we were not given access to anything relating to our history. Okay? So keep this in mind. Now, I'm going to show you this here. This is from this book called The Jew, a Negro. Okay? Page 51. See, this is where, I don't know, like the last class, confabulation. So some people wrote this right here, okay? Made a lot of people believe. So let's read it. Let's read it. We're going to read it together. It says, did the Negroes know of America? Okay? You see this right here? Did the Negroes know of America? Diodorus Siculus tells us that the Phoenicians in early times sailed beyond Hercules' pillars along the African coast, and their meeting with storms and tempests were carried to the remotest part of the ocean. And after many days came a vast island at a great distance from Libya and lying very far west. The Phoenicians informed the Carthaginians of this place. The Carthaginians prohibited other nations from settling in, they reserving it for themselves as if a place of retirement if they should ever be driven from their native soil. So, you take that information, you have enough people pushing propaganda, yeah, it's believable. But people forget the source. Give me a second. My throat's coming back, man. That's good. So anyhow, we just read what these FBA wobbles love to push. Okay? We just read this. This is part of their arsenal. So now I need you to read this with me. Oh, my bad. So this is who they reference. Bro, stop. This is nuts. Look at this. Look at this. This is weird. See that, fam? It's going crazy. All right. So they reference Diodorus Siculus. Okay. On this link, you can actually see everything that he basically wrote. They digitized this. All right. Open Greek text in the new tab, blah, blah, blah. All right. So you guys can see it. And each section is filed by 3 digits. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna skip all that and go down to 5.19. Okay, we're close. So now that we are, okay, see, there you go, right there. Carthaginians, dice. Carthaginians, okay? Phoenicians, okay? Now we're going to get closer to the statement. And here's where it gets very interesting. You see, they mention, they reference all this, right? When it fits a fucking narrative, of course, they're going to exclude everything that debunks their shit. So let's read this. 5.19.1. But now that we have discussed what relates to the islands which lie within the Pillars of Hercules, that's over there in Gibraltar, between Spain and Africa, we shall give an account of those which are in the ocean. For there lies out in the deep of Libya an island of considerable size, and situated as it is in the ocean, it is distant from Libya, a voyage of number of days to the west. It says here, its land is fruitful, much of it being mountainous, and not a little being a level plain of surpassing beauty. Through it flows navigable rivers, which are used for irrigation, and the islands contain many parks planted with trees of every variety, and gardens in great multitudes, which are traversed by streams of sweet water. Then it says, on it also are private villas of costly construction. Hold on a second. So there's buildings in this land that these people are referencing, claiming that they found. Do you understand what we're at now? Esta gente, excluding you guys, that this is them. That's why when people showed up after 1492, that this was them. But we see here, what they fucking leave out is the fact that there was already people here. It sounds to me very similar to like a Tenochtitlan type of place. Beautiful gardens, navigable rivers, irrigations, streams of sweet water, private villas of costly construction, and throughout the garden, banqueting houses have been constructed on settings of flowers. Come on, man. Keep in mind, don't lose the point that they're claiming because of, referencing this, that they were the first ones here when people showed up in 1492. However, they ignore the fact that there were people here already enjoying these places. And throughout the gardens, banqueting houses have been constructed in settlings of flowers. That sounds like floating garden. And in them, the inhabitants pass their time during the summer seasons, since the land supplies in abundance everything which contributes to enjoyment and luxury. You see this here? So now, if we skip to this section, now we're going to kind of get a little bit more clarity on their statement. Okay? Because they also say the Phoenicians informed the Carthaginians. Carthaginians prohibited blah, 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 right? Yes, it's true. But keep in mind what 5.19 was saying. It says the Phoenicians, this is 5.20.3. The Phoenicians, Then, while exploring the coast outside of the pillars for the reasons we have stated, and while sailing along the shores of Libya, North Africa, they were driven by windstorms a great distance out into the ocean after passing Spain and Africa, like the pillars of Gibraltar. And after being storm-tossed for many days, they were carried ashore on the island we mentioned above. And when they had observed its facility and nature, they caused it to be known to all men. Consequently, the Tyrrhenians, and at the time were the masters of the sea, purposed to dispatch a colony to it, but the Carthaginians prevented their doing so, partly out of a concern lest many inhabitants of Carthage should remove there because of the excellence of the land, and partly in order to have ready in it a place in which to seek refuge against an incalculable turn of fortune. 1492 ring a bell? In case some total disaster should overtake Carthage. Remember, Cartagena is named in part of Colombia. For it was their thought that, since they were masters of the sea, they would thus be able to move, household and all, to an island which was unknown to their conquerors. You see that? So this sounds to me, by the way, if you've ever been involved in the 12-tribe chart classes, they tell people that the so-called Northern Kingdom jumped on fucking ships from Africa all the way over here, bro. So it's no different than this story. You see this? They would thus be able to move, household and all, to an island which was unknown to their conquerors. So these people were being conquered. But remember, keep in mind that this island wasn't lonely, right? Why? Because there was already construction, people living here. So this here leaves out a lot of information. Doesn't prove a damn thing, does it? Because by using this statement, you're saying that these people shouldn't be here because nobody was here based on that statement. Again, I really want to emphasize this because if you think about, let me see where it's at. Where are you at? Okay. I've shared this to you before. All right. I'm taking some steps back, kind of bringing you along into that history so then we can kind of see certain things here. So now this book is called The History of the Conquest of Spain by the Arab Moors. Arab is one thing. Moors is also another. So these Arab Moors, as you know by now, you should, did conquer parts of Europe. There's a reason why I'm doing this. I want to show you this to you, okay? I'll show this to you.
These people that get brainwashed with these Afrocentric ideals. All right, we got to start calling these people out. Okay, so my peeps, for those of you who know me, you guys know that I always bring the facts. All right, mariachi. First off, mariachi's rhythm come from something called, and I know I'm going to butcher this. All right, it's called the cisqualtera, or it's known as the himiola. Okay, that's just a fancy way of saying you alternate between 3/4 time and 6/8 time when you hear it in its strumming, right? It's all musical fucking philosophy and shit right there. But the point is that the rhythm came directly from Spain. It did not come from Africa. For some reason, African Americans here in the United States, some of them, they believe that everything comes from them.
Okay, so why am I showing you that? It's like, what the fuck is that about? Okay, so apparently this dumbass, I don't know what is this dude thinking anyways. Mariachi, oh my God. And I get it, man. I get it. Pinche gente pendeja, güey. So now I will speak on this because I am from Guadalajara technically. Came as a young kid, citizen, all that stuff, you know? So I have the experience of being from over there. And you guys are going to be surprised by the fact that the word Guadalajara, first of all, has a what they call Arabic influence. Okay? It really, really does. I don't give a shit. As we know, I've showed you guys books of who's been here, the Jews and the Muslims of British Columbia. Hello, shit. Spaniards weren't just white-looking people, fam. They were Arab-looking people, African-looking people, South African-looking people. You know, get what I'm saying? So now, you see how it says Guadalajara, I guess, supposedly? All right, so now check this, okay? So the etymology. Now, I'm going some basic stuff because I'm going to show you something else too, just to prove it. All right? So, and again, yo nací en Guadalajara, güey. So for that dude to be saying some shit like that, I would like to smack him in the face myself. Look, he even has the face of a pendejo, homie. Like straight. Hold on a second. Hold on. Fuck.
That puto. Fuck that puto.
He is a goofy looking piece of shit. And he should like choke on his sugar someday, bro. He has no idea what he's talking about. So let's educate people because again, you fall into the stupidity trap. Etymology of the word Guadalajara. The word Guadalajara is from Spain. Okay? And it says here, which is derived from Moorish Arabic. Moorish Arabic was a variety spoken. Now, here you see this Wadi al-Hara. See, Wadi al-Hara, Valley of Stones. How interesting that it's Valley of Stones. So now let's touch on this word here. Guadalajara, or listen.
Guadalajara.
Guadalajara. Dispensa, güey.
Guadalajara.
Guadalajara. Ha. You see that? All right. Now, it means what again? Like stone shit, right? Wadi al-Hihara. Fortress. Stone. Okay. Keep that in mind. For now, this is simple stuff, man. If you just fucking Google shit, sometimes Google doesn't lie. But you have idiots. Pinches pen. Look at this, bro. Like, oh my God, dude. It's like, you can even tell the dude looks like a tweaker, bro. Chivato, like, what are you saying? All right, so check this out. Yes, there is a lot of stone in Guadalajara. Notably, there are giant stone balls found in around the Cerro de Ameca, approximately 65 kilometers west of the city. Additionally, there are gemstone mines in the area, particularly in Magdalena, which is known for opal mining, okay? Therefore, Mexico is rich in gemstones, including fire opal, blah, 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 blah. You guys can look that up. But look, I'm going to click on this link because I was going to show it to you. So the mystery of Piedras Bolas, how did these giant rocks form? Oh,
That is gonna hurt.
If you can just read a little, it wouldn't be such a problem. If you would just read. First of all, the people that listen to his stupid ass, and second of all, him, and third of all, the person that made that shit up. So now, the reason I'm saying to Guadalajara thing is because mariachi is from Guadalajara. And before you guys even go any further with that, okay, so Mariachi. I know the brother was giving you guys an explanation on like a musical aspect of it. I'm not. I didn't get the chance to play instruments, even though I did sing a lot of mariachi when I was a little kid. Mariachi is basically violin, guitar, and the trumpet. Violin, guitar, trumpet. There's no drums. There's absolutely no drums. Damn, what's going on? Oh, it's all good. Shit. There's absolutely no drums. So now, in case you guys don't know, that mariachi, the way they sing it, has an influence as well. This has no history of Africa whatsoever, even when you listen to it. So check this out. You guys think I'm kidding? I'm not, and I'm not trying to pin us with certain people. I'm just giving you guys facts. If it hurts your feelings, well, then it hurts your feelings.
Blouse. 1, 2, 3. Blusa. So similar.
That was cool.
Pants. 1, 2, 3.
Pantalones. How do you say it?
Pantalon.
Pantalon. That's cool. Pantalones.
Shirt. 1, 2, 3.
Camisa.
Oh, you're just saying an A after, so it's like almost the same.
Yeah, camisa. Camis?
Yeah. Sugar. 1, 2, 3.
Azúcar.
Oh!
You following what I'm talking about? So the Spanish language has a Arabic influence. What do you say? Hold on, let me get. Oh, what up, brother Joe? Oh, my bad. Hold on. I didn't switch up the button section. What up, brother? My brother-in-law is from Guadalajara. Yeah, cool, bro. He said he does this. He does this to try and raise our people, and he's a kid. That's why he's goofy, bro. He's an idiot. I bet, man, I don't even want to think about it, but he probably is, like that insect mayate, bro. He's like that. Hey, what up, VTC? What up, dog? So again, let's not forget. Let me kind of go back before we miss the point. The point being is, some people are claiming, the goofy dude that was here earlier, like supposedly mariachis are from African origin. It's like, what are you talking about, man? So me being from there, I know some history about this shit. And, not that I want to show it to everybody, just say it's needed now. So let me explain these things to you. And I'm like, bro, the name Guadalajara has an Arabic origin. Some of the words in Spanish are not like originally from Spain. They were taken pieces from Arab because, again, Arabs conquered most of North Africa, took some North Africans with them, conquered Spain and Portugal. That is a fact. That's not a fucking lie. You understand what I'm saying? So now, let's not forget where our origin comes from, because when you say stuff like that, it's not only do you sound stupid, but you lie to people and make them get sicker. Because for Wabos to be doing this at this point, Wabos are sick in the head, basically. There's no other answer to it.
Blouse. 1, 2, 3. Blusa. So similar.
That was cool.
Pants. 1, 2, 3.
Pantalones. How do you say it?
Pantalon.
Pantalon. That's cool. Pantalones.
Shirt. 1, 2, 3.
Camisa.
Oh, you're just saying an A after, so it's like almost the same.
Yeah, camisa. Camis?
Yeah. Sugar. 1, 2, 3.
Azúcar. Oh, that was cool. Azúcar. I basically speak Arabic.
Guitar. 1, 2, 3. Guitarra. It's the same.
Say it?
Guitarra. Cooking oil. 1, 2, 3.
Aceite. Zit?
Yeah. It's like this.
Aceite. Zit. Yeah. Yeah.
Scorpion. 1, 2, 3.
Alacrán.
It's like sort of similar.
Say it?
Alacrán.
Alacrán.
Yeah.
Ours has more of an N at the end.
Yeah. Until. 1, 2, 3. Hatta.
Hasta.
You just have an S in there.
Yes, hasta.
Hatta.
That's awesome.
Music. 1, 2, 3. Musica.
Musica.
Hey.
That's the same thing. That one's like the one.
Yeah,
that
that's the one that's like the same.
Equal.
Reason I wanted to share that with you is because when you sing mariachi, right, with their vocals, it's very similar to, like, let's put it this way, like Gypsy King type style. And they're like guitar and voice. Mariachi's guitars and voice. That's it. There's no drums. It doesn't sound exactly the same, but you can tell the branching off of that. I don't know, man. You know, sometimes you tell people this type of information and you would think that they'll embrace it. And matter of fact, they even get offended by that shit. So let me bring you to this tension here real quick. Where is it at? Here it goes, right here. All right, so this is from a book called, I'm just going to look at two things real quick. No big deal, man. It's like no big deal, you know? From the year 1800, okay? Printed that year. Regarding Hernan Cortez between 1485 and 1547, okay? Bernal Diaz del Castillo. On page, and we're just, again, just a couple words. Page 151 on PDF, page 138 on the actual book, okay? You have to know how we ended up here, why we speak the way we speak, how come some words are, or where they come from. You have to know this shit. And that's why I showed the first page. They denied us any type of education. If supposedly we're here to steal somebody's heritage, why would we be denied if we were part of their team? It makes no sense. So now let's read this, because again, it's about facts, not fiction or feelings. It says on page 138, we're talking about here supposedly some color-colored people were originally here, and we just fucking came and stole their heritage. Somehow we stole their bean diet and their rice diet and their guacamole diet and their, I don't know, tacos diet. I guess we stole tacos and all that stuff from them, apparently, because there's nowhere else in the world that food is from. It's not Asian. It's not European. It's not Spaniard. So let's read this real quick, because I find this very, very, very difficult to then understand. I'm more confused now then. If the original people here were black like black, okay. It says here that the great Montezuma was in this time age about 40 years, of good stature, well proportioned, and thin. It says his complexion was much fairer than that of the Indians. He wore his hair short, just covering his ears. Okay. The only way you can wear your hair short and cover your ears is if you have straight hair. Okay? Now it says his complexion was much fairer than that of the Indians, with little beard, well arranged, thin and black. His face was rather long, with a pleasant countenance, good eye, yada, yada, yada. Okay? See what I'm saying? All right. Let's go to this other page. So help me understand this. It says here, page 313, Cuauhtémoc was of a noble appearance, both in person and countenance. His features were rather large and cheerful, with a lively eyes. His age was about 23 or 4 years, and his complexion very fair for an Indian. I mean, my understanding, God keeps saying copper color, like that doesn't roll here. His queen, and Denise Moctezuma, was young and very handsome. I'm just going to run through this. I'm not even going to like look too much into it. Again, it's whatever you guys want to believe. A study in the Hebrew and Indian. My sincere belief is that this is what they really want. They hate the fact that we have so much in common with this Hebrew language, customs, and ways. And if you read the Bible, curses. Because it was first BHI. Then Wobble-ism came into play, then FBA, because they knew they could not do. I'm telling you, they're not interested in your feathers, family. They're not, I mean, they try to wear them and shit, but it's not what it is. You can look through this book. I'll show you the name. I'm not going to stay on it. This is just a point. A study in Hebrew and Indian languages. It's an excellent book. A study in Hebrew and Indian languages. You can even preface that with the Nexus, the book that I showed you guys before. If I don't have it around me, I'm not going to look for it. Nope. Excellent comparable. We have to really know that. Now, remember I showed you guys the Spanish Arab Moors, right? Okay. And I told you, man, you wanted me to bring out the guns. I'm bringing out the guns. Because I guess, people got to be reminded, man. This is a book from Leo Africanus. Okay? Leo Africanus. Printed in the 1600s. Regarding 1492 through approximately 1550. That's what he's referring to. Now, mind you, he is of African descent. Leo Africanus. This is a man in that was living around 1492. Okay? Documented information, all of these things, and his stuff was printed in 1600. So if supposedly current people now, right? The so-called white man, if he's the one that took away all this heritage, and somehow, some way, nobody else knew. But this man right here, he says, "En contraire, mon frère." Even if you try to hide into that Moorish nonsense, right? We the Moors. Okay. So let's say you are. Let me show you real quick. As you can see, a geographical history of Africa, written in Arabic. Why? Because if you recall, Spain was conquered by Arabs and Moors, right? So it shouldn't blow your mind like, oh, that was, no. Let's look at history and stay in the branch. Not walk around and make up some shit and like add to it because it fucking feels good. Or go blabbering around for 30 fucking minutes because of how you feel. Oh, and by the way, donations, please. A Geographical History of Africa. Written in Arabic and Italian by John Leo A. Moore. You see, this is John Leo A. Moore, born in Granada, brought up in Barbary. Okay? Now, we're going to go back to page 140 and 141. Thank you, brother. It's a little bit back behind you. I think it's over here. It's actually in chapter, it's got to be in chapter, there it goes. It's in chapter 2, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on a second. Give me a moment. Oh, yeah, I know what page you're talking about, but I gotta prove a point here. So this is on page 6 of, I believe, chapter 2. The first, yeah, okay, so this is the first book, or second book, I believe. It says the original of the people of Africa. This is in 1600. This is not a book from Colombiados shown in 1845 or 1890. This is an African man expressing who and what he knows. So let's go with it. About the original of the Africans, historiographers do much disagree. For some will have them to be derived from the inhabitants of Palestina, because as they say, being expelled out of their own country by Assyrians, they came at length into Africa, and seeing the fruitfulness of the soil, chose it to be their place of habitation. Others are of the opinion that they took their original from Sabians, a people of Arabia, and that before such time as they were put to flight by the Assyrians and or Ethiopians, as had been aforesaid. So now it differentiates Africans from Ethiopians here. Interesting, isn't it? In the 1600s. Some others report that the Africans descended from certain people of Asia, who being chased thence by reasons of wars which were waged against them, fled in Greece, which at the same time had no inhabitants at all. Howbeit, the enemy still pursuing them, they were forced to cross the sea of Morea and being arrived in Africa to settle themselves there. But their enemies abode still in Greece. It says, all which opinions and reports are to be understood only of the original of the Tani people, that is to say, of the Numidians and barbarians. So I guess certain people did move to those regions, but he's saying, nah, that's not the story of Africa. You may be saying that these people jumping around here and there, that's Numidians and barbarians. He goes, to confirm, for all the Negroes or blackamoors. Keep in mind that he's not excluding. He's including you both. Take their descent from Cush, the son of Cam, who was the son of Noah. But whatsoever difference between the Negroes and the Tani Moors, certain it is that they had all one beginning. For the Negroes are descendants of the Philistines, and the Philistines of Mizraim, the sons of Cush, but the Tani Moors fetched their pedigree from the Sabians. And it is evident that Saba was begotten of Ramah, which was the eldest of Cush. Diverse other opinions there be as touching this matter, which because they seem not so necessary, we have purposely omitted. So here, he's clearly stating, and he was in Spain at this time. None of us were. He was. Not FBA, so-called people, not Wabos, not all those dumbasses making these videos. None of them were there. This guy was there. And he himself is an African person. You don't believe me? Let me show you. Now we're going to go a little bit to that page, just to get you to see. I think it's let's see. Oh, this is a crazy one here. Hold on, let me see. And so much that often the parties affected are cool. Okay, it's talking about, diseases over there. Let me see. I always get a little confused. What vices? Here's the vices, which is pretty crazy, right? That's the vices that supposedly he wrote down about his people. Listen to this, okay? So he's going around in this page 42, like he really puts a damper on your shit, like straight, like straight Canaanite experience for real. He talked about the civility. There was none. There was prostitution. There was no respect whatsoever. There was no courting of nuts, nothing. Then he says, and you guys can read this on your own. I'm not going to read that because I already know it. I'm not trying to prove that point. He's after all of that, he says, okay? Matter of fact, I'll read it here. It says, the Negroes likewise lead a beastly kind of life, being utterly destitute of use of reason. of dexterity of wit and all of their arts. Yeah, they so because themselves as if they had continually lived in a forest among wild beasts. He says, they have great swarms of harlots among them, whereupon a man may easily connecture their manner of living. So, you know, like it says, they have great swarms of harlots among them. And the dudes are okay with doing that, except their conversation perhaps be somewhat more tolerable, who dwell in the principal towns and cities. For it is like that they are somewhat more addicted to civility. Or, I'm sorry, civility. Then it says here, so this is he. These are his words. Neither am I ignorant how much own credit is impeached when I myself write so homely of Africa, unto which country I stand indebted for both for my birth and also for the best part of my education. Howbeit, in this regard, I seek not to excuse myself, but only to appeal unto the duty of an historiographer, who is to set down the plain truth in all places, and is blamed worthy for flattering or favoring of any person. So he's showing no respecter of people. He's writing what he sees. And this is the cause that has moved me to describe all things so plainly, without glossing or dissimulation, not with fake shit, making it seem like they're Superman. No. And you know what I mean? Straight facts. Wherefore, here I am to request the gentle reader, friendly to accept of this my most true discourse, albeit not adorned with fine words and artificial eloquence, as of certain unknown strange matter. If you read page 40 and 41, it's a total destruction. 41 to 42, actually. The vices of foresaid Africans are subject onto, and you know what? You'll find a lot of similarities. I'm serious. I'm not kidding. You'll find a lot of similarities of that time and today. Now, I'm going to show this to you. It's important that you get this one, okay? It has to be this one, because a lot of people that don't like to read truth will go to things like this from 1896, and it absolutely cuts out everything that's really important, to be quite frank with you. So you also have to know what you're reading. Partly true is still in doubt. Nah, you can't have it like that. Conditions of Morocco in Leo's day. It's an updated version, which basically they translate for you, because I guess some people are just too lazy to learn how to read this. Now, with all that being said, why does this matter to me? Again, you know what I mean? Why? Like, I always ask questions. I like to ask questions, man. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. Like I said earlier, you know, it's important. Like, reading is fucking important, man. Reading in its proper, true form. Understanding what you're reading. Knowing what you're reading. Right? Okay. Thank you, sis, for sending me this video. Because make it, again, make sense. You don't read. I know you don't read because you're showing pictures. Oh, my bad. I already had it here. I tend to do that. Now, we're going to look at this book here. But as you can see, if I do this, it's going to take too long, okay? So I already had marked the pages before. I'm going to use my Telegram to go through the pictures. We're going to look at this book. All right? This is called America Being an Accurate Description of the New World, containing the original of the inhabitants, the remarkable voyages thither, the conquest of the vast empires of Mexico and Peru, the ancient and later wars with their several plantations, many and rich islands, yada, 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 yada. By John Ogilvy, okay? What year is that? MDCLXX. Hold on. MDCLXX. I believe that's what it is. 1670? Yeah, 1670. Hello. Okay, cool. My bad. I should have just done this. So now this one's written in 1670. All right? Keep in mind what we're talking about. Wabos love to bring up this material, but don't read it though. That's the problem. So let's check this out, family. Let's endeavor in this. Let's just see what's going on. What exactly are we seeing here? Let's go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hidden Histories Collective. We're really excited about this particular one because we have been talking so much about American Indians and our status in this country and our history. And it's, sometimes it can be a bit of an uphill battle because we're fighting and pushing up against the narrative of the day. But I think this book is going to really help to put some things out there and to start having different conversations and having some really important ones. Now, some of you may be familiar with this particular book that I'm about to show you, and I hope that you are, because it's going to be an important series that we're going to be putting together around this book, which is about 800 pages. And I'm really, really excited to talk about this book today. It is called America, being the latest and most accurate.
So you see, right? America being the most accurate. You know what I find so funny, family? What I find so interesting, okay, first of all, I mean, it blows my mind. Because this guy, John Ogilvy, he wrote America, right? Being an accurate description, but not from his experience, from someone else's experiences, okay? And she admits it too, so which is kind of dumb. Now, here's what I do. Like, it blows my mind. What about this book here? Africa being an accurate description by John Ogilvy. Well, I mean, why come? This is not a book of importance to you. Now, I kind of read a little bit through this, and I can understand why. Why is Leo Africanus, which is a much more historical, like a little more, older than that, why didn't that matter? And don't say, oh, that's got a lot of pages, so does the other one. Does this not concern you? And if you look at the pictures, right? And I tried to find a one in color, and I could not. It was hard to find, like, because you can see this, like, Negro land. See what I'm saying? How come this didn't matter? So now, let's continue.
Description of the New World. And the title is actually longer than that, but that is the essence of the book. And it was published in 1671 by But when he sat down and he wrote this book, he hadn't really written it from scratch. It was actually a translation and a compilation of earlier sources, mostly from the Dutch, Spanish, and Portuguese accounts. And so, in essence, Ogilvy was more of a publisher / translator than a field researcher.
Okay, so there, right there, I mean, I don't know why none of you ever considered, just for a moment, ponder, like, Well, he wasn't here. So who gave him the picture concept? But you use the picture. You're using a man, the experience, which didn't have any. And you say, obviously, he was a publisher, but you use his picture. So why would you use it? Why would you consider it reliable? And then, like, did you ignore this here? I mean, you guys are only looking at this, but what about this person here? And why are these animals with horns? You know what I mean? So now, again, this is Ogilvy. Let's continue.
So, but even that was pretty extensive because, like I said, maps in America were often adapted from earlier 16th and 17th century works. So the book itself is
Like, look, if it mattered to you, then why not recollect and reflect on some of these books from the 16th, 1500s? Like, Leo Africanus. What? I mean, seriously, what the? Like, what the? What are we doing here? Are we just being selective? We're just kind of we're going through the motions and shit? Okay, no, let's listen to this real quick.
had a semi-official title of a cosmographer to King Charles II. And as you guys know, King Charles II and other kings and queens of the day, many of them were melanated people.
You see what I mean? But hey, let's ride with that. Let's ride with that. Because, again, you may sound like you're reading something, but you're no different than Colomiados and his crew. That dude raped your minds. He produced lavish atlases and travel books, yada, yada, yada. America, 1671 was part of a series. He also did Asia and Africa, but that doesn't matter, right? Like, Africa doesn't matter. They don't fit the narrative.
Here. But as you can see in this particular picture, Ogilvy is presenting one of those books to King Charles II in a very formal way. Now, books like this that Ogilvy had put together were very expensive, and they were really for the elite and wealthy patrons and libraries and officials who wanted prestige, knowledge.
No, only people with money were able to buy books. That's what it was. It was that simple. It was just that simple. If you had the money, you could buy it. And usually it was those people with power. Let's be honest, family. Child protection rights just began like this last century. Prior to like 1920, bro, kids were working in fucking factories and shit. You know what I mean? Bruh. Come on, give me a break, man. Let me skip to some point because she's just doing some stuff. Whatever. Let's continue here. Let's read this. I'm gonna show you some. I'm gonna show you the book. Don't even trip. Let's go.
Because England was in a fierce rivalry with both Spain and the Dutch for colonial dominance in the Americas, and so publishing a massive authoritative book such as this on the quote unquote New World helped to assert England's intellectual and cultural stake in America. And so by doing that, they were able to show. Well, here they were telling you about here's what we know about America. We've been there. We know.
Here's the funny part. In the same breath, she also says that melanated people were the ones that were, King Charles II. So which elites are we talking about? The white elites or Swati elites or black elites? Which ones are we talking about here? In the same breath, you're saying that the elitists were Swati? Okay.
So much about this place. And so when you see these images, pay really, really special attention to the social standing of, I guess you could say, the Aboriginal. As you can see in this particular sketch, there were many slaves surrounding this particular Aboriginal. And they weren't African slaves, as you can see. Now, one of the things about
reading the book, no, we ain't reading the book. We're just kind of like, Ogilvy Society likely traces their deep cultural continuity back. Okay, so the society's Ogilvy shows in America likely trace their deep cultural continuity back 600 to 1,000 years earlier, or at least to the 8th, 10th century, sometimes much farther. Maya and Andean civilization go back 2,000 years, which apparently they think that they're Maya too. And again, we're looking at pictures. Are we just doing pictures? Oh, okay. All right, we got a page. Let's go.
Honduras, Jamaica, Puerto
Oakley's book is nearly 800 pages long with sanctions. Okay, here we go. All right.
Rico, Cuba, and more. So when you think of that, you think of the volume, the content in this book. You're talking about many different territories and areas that made up North America. Now, here's the thing. Think about this, and we've said this often, but I'm saying this on the record for the Hidden Histories Collective and our video presentations, is that when you think of all
this is all grifting, man. It's all grifting, bro. Oh, God, dog. Y'all fucking people are crazy. I call this straight up Negro grifting. Y'all are just trying to make money, man. This isn't really about the heritage. Not for certain people, fam. This is about the money they can make. Because you got dumbasses that will fall for it. They're doing it right now. They're lost their minds. They're making dumbass songs too.
all these territories, they were already inhabited by many, many, many indigenous peoples, millions. Okay. So when we talk about the transatlantic, let me get that right, transatlantic slave trade, what are we talking about? Right. And I'm just putting that question out there. I know this isn't the topic of this presentation, but it has to be said and it has to be noted that this particular book highlights that these are established countries, right? Established territories, I should say. And this whole concept of the slave trade puts everything in a very, very different light. And one of the
So without saying it, basically she's saying that the people that lived in these places were blackity black, right? That's what she's saying. Mincing with words ain't gonna fucking get you nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. This is it just like, it's silly to me that you want to mince with words. Well, you know, like transatlantic. I mean, you got to ask yourself. There was already people here, like, so, you know, without really saying it, like the transatlantic slave trade, like, you know, let's put it this way: the real facts were that you guys came with the white man. You had slaves since 1492. You fought all the way through to keep them until 1865. Those are the facts. There's been Negro slavers in these countries for a long time. Encomiendas, you guys had them because you and the Spaniards or whatever white men you want to call them, y'all work together. So this stupidity here, by using pictures, and people are like, oh my God, this is so fucking cool. Look, she's showing numbers. Okay. Absolutely not showing the book. Oh, wait, just pictures. Let's see.
If the Americas were already full of indigenous peoples, does it make sense that millions of Africans had to be shipped to the various regions? Ogilvy's book forces us to confront this contradiction.
What does he force you to do? You haven't showed the page about what you're talking about. Let's continue.
And when you see these people, they're dark-skinned people, right? And I'm going to get even deeper with that as we move on here. And I just want to show you again some images from the book, some illustrations from the book, so that you can see the people that were sketched and drawn. And clearly, this man here has curly hair and he's dark. You know, just this being really real. Okay. Some more images and illustrations. Yeah, here we go. And so when you see this book in its totality, it really, I don't want
to see the pictures. When you see the pictures of like, oh my God. So you're saying, like, this is what they're saying, family, that they built Tenochtitlan, Iztapalapa, Cholula, Tlaxcala, and the great Pueblo towns of Southwest were all designed, built, and maintained by indigenous people. And they had stone temples, palaces, marketplaces, aqueducts, irrigation systems, and plant streets. Remember, we went back to Diodorus Siculus, right? That's why I did that. So, again, we're going by pictures. She's not saying it, but you're saying it. So you're saying black people had all this shit put together, and we just came in and kicked them out. When the fuck did that happen? Like, what part? What you between 1492? What happened in 1500? 1570? 1680? 1650? On the contrary, we have documentation showing that African people had smallpox and they brought that shit over here and they decimated the majority of the people. I mean, that should have given you the opportunity to, like, you know, take the land and shit. It's almost as if about 100 million people just came in 1500, bro. Like, straight up. That's how they see it. Now, Ogilvy, again, the book is Ogilvy. So here goes. Here's the question. Because honestly, she doesn't show the book much. It just talkity talk, you know? That's it. It's cloud chasing. She wants your money, man.
They look African to me. That's what people will say, right? Now, my response, in America, Ogilvy look at these illustrations and say, they look African to me. That's what people will say, right? Now, my response, in America, Ogilvy never uses the term African. Never. He never uses the term African. And when you guys go to archive.org and you download it directly from the website, you can do a search in the document and you won't ever see the word African. He does not.
You see that? She said you can do a search in the document, but it never show it. So that means she's never read it. Okay?
Describe these people as African. His descriptors are consistent. He calls the indigenous people Americans, Floridians.
Didn't we just see earlier, and she said it herself, that he wrote a book about Africa, Asia, and America? If he would have seen people in Africa, wrote about them, and came here, and you guys look like them, I don't give a shit what you say. Like, you eat like an African person. You smell like one. I'm not saying you smell bad or good. I'm just saying, giving you, like, you walk like a duck, you see a duck, whatever, right? You smell like one, you dance like one, you eat like one, you worship like one, and yet you're saying you're not one. It's like I'm saying I'm not Mexican, but I eat tacos, you know what I mean? I wear a hat, I got my bigote, you know, the typical fucking shit, right? My bigotas, I listen to Mexican, you know, music, blah, blah, but I'm not Mexican. Nah, fuck no. I look like one. Nah, hell no. I'm gringo, homie. Or nah, what if I said, nah, fuck no, I'm African. Fuck no, I ain't no Mexican, I'm African. Why? How do you know? Well, you know, there's some pictures over there. I've seen some Mexican people looking over there. Seriously, that's so we never seen the book. In America, Ogilvy never uses the term African. Well, no, because he's writing about the Americas, dumbass. Why would he do that? But he did use Negro. He did use Negro in the book. And if we recall, Leo Africanus also uses the word Negro to reference Africans. Let's continue. I'm telling you, I'm going to show you the books, man. We got fire here.
Floridians, guys, forgive me. The Mexicans, the native inhabitants, the Peruvians, et cetera, et cetera. So I just want to make that note here because sometimes people will say things, well, they look African and they were African. Now, keep in mind, yes, the Spaniards and Europeans, they did bring Africans over with them in the early part of the 15th century. And when they started really coming with regularity, because we know they were coming to conquer. But in terms of the number, the slave trade, the quote unquote slave trade wasn't official per se. So when Ogilvy writes and puts together this book, he's putting together the book not just based on his perceptions, but on what he has in front of him based on the Dutch and the Portuguese and Spaniards, what everyone else has been saying. So he's not even.
He don't even have a perception of it because he was never fucking here. My God. How can he write it from his perception? No, for him to write it from his perception and then have a collection of other people's writings, what makes sense with what you just said. But that makes no fucking sense because there's no perception. All he can go by is the material that he read. The only perception comes from them. Dear God, this is who you're giving your money to. This stupidity. So now, let me see if there's anything stupid that she may say. Let's go.
And calling anyone African because they're not African. Now, here's where it gets interesting. And here is where you will find and see where the term Negro came from and why they begin to call us Negro. Now, in the 17th century, Negro land, or what they would call the land of Negroes, or sometimes they would call the land of the blacks, it was a European term that they used, and they put this on maps and atlases. And it was used primarily by the Portuguese, Dutch, and later by Ogilvy when he wrote his 1670 volume called Africa to describe West Africa, which stretched from Senegal to Nigeria, as you can see on this map. Okay, so it was a section of quote unquote Africa that they called Negro land. See? Now, Negro land didn't mean one kingdom, but a whole belt of territory Europeans associated with the quote unquote Black peoples. And on maps, you'll often see it placed just below the Sahara, okay, covering the Sahel region. Now, when Ogilvy wrote Africa, the book, because it was another book, and I'm also going to create, not create, but I'm going to include the link of that book as well, which is almost, I think it's a little over, it may be over 900 pages, I think that one is. Now, in Ogilvy's Africa, the full title includes the land of Negroes, Guinea, Ethiopia, where Negro land is broadly applied. So think of it from this perspective. Ogilvy writes America, which is a whole different set of people. Then he writes Africa, which is again another whole set of people. But by the time we start reaching into the, the areas of the slave trade, that's when people just start calling folks Negroes, right? They just
You hear that? You hear that? It makes no sense because we do see that the terminology was used at that time. So you're saying, well, you never said African, but then you're saying, well, that the word Negro was never used until over here.
And stone towns with plazas, gardens, and waterways. And we're going to be doing a series, as I mentioned. But the thing, folks, Negroes, right? They just, we start reaching into the, the areas of the slave trade. That's when people just start calling folks Negroes, right? They just, anybody who had dark skin was a Negro. Now, I want to talk about the importance of this book. And I know I'm doing a really kind of quick overview over this.
Well, I'm just wanting to lie to you. Hold on. Let me see what else, some dumb shit she says. All right. So hold on. In Ogilvy's engraving, he saw dark-skinned people in stone towns with plazas, gardens, and waterways. Okay. They weren't Spanish cities. They were indigenous cities built centuries before the conquest. The Europeans, Spaniards, didn't create these cities. They conquered them, erased them, and then rebuilt them on top of them. Ogilvy's 1671 America preserved what the conquerors themselves first saw: American Aborigines, Indians living in civilizations as advanced as any in Europe. So that's her idea of this book. 900 pages, and all she fucking said was the pictures. Look at what about these pictures? What do you call that right there? You see that kid, family? You see that? Oh, my dear. I guess it's not convenient, huh? Hey, look at that kid. Look at that kid. He got straight hair. That shit don't look woolly to me. What are you fucking talking about? What are you saying? What are you doing, man? What are we talking about here? The unknown South. America. We're still looking at America. Correct? Or am I seeing things here? Look, let's look at some more pictures. What about this shit right here? Now, again, I don't like to just show you guys pictures, but what happened to these pictures? Look, I barely clicked on 2 pages. Hold on. Let me see the top of that right there. What about this person right here? They don't look dark. Because they're not talking about Europeans in this book. Remember? America. Americas. I'm just showing you the pictures real quick, fam. Here it goes right here, look. So they use this, right? They use that. Oh, that's got to be us. Look at the hair, though. The shit is flowing, man. That's not woolly shit. Now you're going to say that, no, well, not everybody has. Come on, bro. Please stop. Here you are eating yourself. Is this what you're saying? You're cannibals? I mean, those people don't look African at all, bro. Yeah, look at the way it's colored in, but look at the material. Now, this is, again, from a man that was never here. Okay, so now, let me take you to the book. we're going to dissect this shit quickly. All right. So here's what I think they want. This is from the same book, chapter 4. And here Diodorus Siculus is mentioned again. In like manner, Diodorus Siculus undertakes to prove that America was known to the ancients, telling a story how the Phoenicians were driven by storm from, I don't think it's the next page. So it's basically what we read in Diodorus Siculus, okay? I'm not trying to hide anything. So let's continue. Page 25. This is what they're not saying, but this is what they want. How little difference is there in many words between the Greek and the Hebrew? The Hebrew called church congregation, Sanhedrin, blah, 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 right? So he's starting to mention these particular words here. Hebrew, somehow, some way. You know, you're like, Hebrew? Okay. He's exploring languages. All right. Here on page, chapter 2, page 23. Again, the name of God in Hebrew, right, mentions a few things, right? He's basically, again, doing a diagnosis of, hold on, page this one. Okay, cool, next one. He's doing a diagnosis of the Americas. So now, here's what he says here on top. Peopled in America, the Spaniards sprung from Tabul of Japhet have subjugated the Americas, descendants from the Sidons of Canaan. What? Have subjected the Americans descended from Sidon of Canaan, wherein is fulfilled that prophecy of Moses that Canaan should be servants of Japhet. But it seems a great mistake to derive the Phoenicians from Canaan, for they are extracted from Shem, Eber, Abraham, Esau, I think, first name Edom, from his saying Adam, whatever. So you see, like he's kind of going through like Bible stuff, you know, trying to compare. Okay, so this is what he's writing. It's a big book. Then it says here, but who can find the least likeness between the Hebrew or the Arabic tongue with the Americans? Lastly, since Phoenicians acknowledge Esau for a father, what then concerns the Americans, the curse of Canaan, since they are no more extracted from Canaan than the Phoenicians? So apparently Ogilvy thinks that these natives are Canaanites. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm talking about? So Ogilvy's not even really doing like them a favor. But again, you don't read. Lastly, let's see what else. Canaan extracted from thus concerning the Phoenicians. Well, let me read this again. But who can find least likeness between the Hebrew or the Arabic tongue with the Americans? Lastly, since the Phoenicians acknowledge Esau for a father, what then concerns the Americans? The curse of Canaan, since they are no more extracted from Canaan than the Phoenicians, thus much concerning the Phoenicians. So check this out. Some would derive the Americans from the Jews, others from the 10 tribes of Israel, carried into captivity. The ground of which opinions is that the Jew and the Israelites were scattered among all nations. Therefore, they conclude that America was also peopled by them, rather because ancient Jews and Americans were one complexion. And when a like habited, both going without shoes, only wearing sandals, and an upper coat over the shorter linen vest. So here he's basically saying they compare the Americans with the Jews because you're just with sandalias and un pinche pancho way. Both are humble, quick of apprehension, and obliging, yet valiant. But it is certain they cannot be like the Jews because the Americas changed their habit. According as they lived in cold and hot countries, they go not in the least like anyone other. All right? So we're seeing like this guy is what he's talking about. We're getting the gist of it. This is on page 26. He mentions Canaan again. We can't really see it that well, so, I'll skip it for now. It looks better in the book. I did my best to take the pictures, fam. This is chapter 2, page 29. So here he's still kind of referencing some type of biblical history regarding, what he's trying to understand from what he's reading. Remember, from what he's reading. So he's mentioning things that he's read before. He's never been here. Chapter 3, page 33. The counting of the times by night, extracted by the Hebrews, is observant by the diverse Eastern people. And although the Germans dip and wash their children in the cold water, rivers, or brooks, so soon as they were born, yet the Mexicans never did. But the mothers lay the child on the fourth day after its birth in an open place of the house, in the middle whereof it stands a pot full of water covered with broom, in which they wash the infant. Neither are the Americans so much addicted to the vice of gaming as any other nation, so that Grotes taxed them too severely as to the point, soon as contrary, he too much clearer than them of polygamy, whereas the Mexican marry as many wives as they please or are able to maintain. All right, so that's kind of stuff that he's writing about. Chapter 3, page 18. I think, no, hold on. Chapter 2, page 38. My bad. Let me see if this is of some significance. Planting American lands. No, let's continue. Mentions a similar tongue of the Hebrew. Okay? Like this is what he's reading. Page 80, chapter 3. Now here, check this out where it gets really interesting. So he's talking about, he doesn't say anything about Negro, whatever, this and that, or Africa never mentioned. Well, it is mentioned in a book from probably 500 years prior. Oh no, that's not the one I was looking for. Hold on. It's so we got that. Give me a second. Might be Bataan tribes. It's talking about the similarity in clothing. Yep, I got that. The Hebrew, okay, that. I think we're here. Okay, same Hebrew stuff. Let's check here. Necromancer. Okay, that's what it was. Okay, so now check this out. This is on Honduras, chapter 4, page 229. Okay? So let's read this. It says, the young children's faith, they murdered, beating out the brains against the stone. So here we see the fruitful valley of the country were anciently very well inhabited. To vast multitude of natives were destroyed by the Spaniards' cruelty, of which the Bishop Bartolome de las Casas, in his letter to the Emperor Charles V, gives his relation. So we see here of how the Spaniards just completely destroyed and tortured our people. Now, this is what he reads, what the Spaniards did, the cruelty. I'm not going to read it because I'm trying to get to a specific point. Talking about what the people look like. Okay? So check this out. That's on page 152. Let's see. Clothing of the Indians, Indian breeches over their secret parts, the snake, all the other tail behind, hanging down before last skin here. Let's see, there were the shoes, Moses' skin. I was reading this earlier, so I'm kind of going through it real quick in case I miss anything, okay? Just my bad. Fouls, okay, cool, sounds good. All right, so now check this out. Chapter 4, look, Guadalajara. What a coincidence, right? What a coincidence. The Moors or Negroes, which are brought hither from Guinea. Where's that at? Hold on a second. Where is that at? Where's Guinea, family? What are we talking about here? Where is Guinea? Guinea is right there in Africa. What are we doing? What are you talking about, lady? The Moors or Negroes, which are brought hither from Guinea. He didn't have to say Africa because he was calling the fucking country. Because Africa is a continent, not a country. Why would he say Africa? You see the difference? So when he said Africa, he wrote about the continent of Africa. When he said America, he wrote about the continent of America. I don't know if he was in Africa, but I know he wasn't here. The Moors or Negroes, which are brought hither from Guinea, do all manner of hard labor. The Huachichiles and Guamares are valiant people and have each their peculiar language, utterly different from the Mexicans. You guys look just like them. Would there be any difference here? Chapter 2, page 151. Check this out. Now we're going to get into the looks, because she says supposedly they were, like black, right? And she's all looking at the pictures. Okay, so let's read this. Most of these Northwood Indians are between 5 to 6 foot high, straight-bodied, strong composed, smooth skin, married countenance, of complexion more swarthy than the Spaniards, black-haired, high foreheads, black eyes, out nose, broad shoulders, brawny arms, long, slender-headed, out-breasted, small-waisted, lank bellies, well-thighed, flat-kneed, with handsome grown legs, and small feet. In other words, they take them when the blood skips in their veins, when the flesh is on their backs, and marrow in their bones, when they floric in their antique deportments and Indian posture. They're more amiable to behold, though only in Adam's livery, than many in trim gallants in the newest mode. And though their houses are but mean, their lodging is homely, common sense. They drink water, nature their best clothing, yet they still are healthy and lusty. Lustly or loosely, I don't know what that, lusty, I'm assuming lusty? Yeah, okay. Check this out. Their smooth skins proceed from often anointing of their bodies with the oil of the fishes, the fat of the eagles, with the grease of the raccoon, which they hold in summer at best antidote to keep their skin from blistering, which the scorching sun. Do you know what that means, fam? So, for example, when you're out in the sun, if you don't put oil on you, it could blister. Now, that doesn't happen to black folks. Do you understand that? Do you understand that? It is their best armor against the mosquitoes and their surest abrivore of the hairy excrement, and stops the pores of their bodies against the nipping winter's cold. Their black hair is natural, yet it is brought to a more jetty color by oiling, dyeing, and daily dressing. Sometimes they wear it very long, hanging down in a loose, disheveled, womanish manner. What? No. Así como, like, you have long hair, you hold it up. It's like loose, not braided. When can you see that with woolly, bro? No, there's no way you can do that. I mean, unless you put some other weird shit, which they say makes grow the father. They're not a little fantastical, I guess, in their particular. Their boys being not permitted to wear their hair long till 16 years of age. Then they must come to it by degrees, some being cut with a long forestop, a long lock on the crown, one on each side of the head, the rest of the hair being cut even with the scalp. Now check this out. I'm going to jump back because there's a lot of pages, okay? So I just made sure to put the pictures in there and then just read them. So now we're reading here, chapter 4, page 235. So I'm not showing you guys pictures. I'm reading stuff to you. Why? Because again, look at the differentiation between people. Filipina, another on the west of Carlos, both of these seated upon a large spacious bay, before which there lie certain little islands to the numbers of 30 or more, which the Spaniards are said to have wholly this people long since by forcing the natives over into the continent to work in the mines. As usually, they died before the emperor's prohibition. But now they use slaves or Negroes, which they buy for that purpose from Guinea and other parts. She's like, well, why would they? I mean, if there was so many people here, why would they replace them? I mean, so you don't know the story. You don't know about the smallpox, the mine, the death, and all that. Now here we're seeing them calling them Negroes. You said they weren't calling them Negroes until later? But Leo Africanus calls them that. Let's continue. Chapter 8, 379. This island is divided into 11 parishes or parts, whatever, and hath it 14 churches and chapels, and being subdivided into diverse plantations, small and great, had sugar worked according to with fair and large buildings made of stone and brick, which generally are pleasant habitations and delightful situated, most having pleasant prospects to the sea and land. The inhabitants of this island are English, Scot, and Irish. So they're, where are they? They're in an island. Somewhere, Charlestown maybe, looks like it. So they're in an island, all right? So they're in an island right now. English, Scots, and Irish, and some but very few of the something Dutch and French nations who formerly lived here a time of servitude and now dwell as free men, some by their trade, others by plantation. Also, some few Jews live here and trade as merchants, they having obtained license from His Majesty to do so, besides mulattoes and Negroes, which are here kept and accounted for slaves, the number of which some years since, upon search, were forced to be 50,000 persons. You see? 50,000 slaves. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The number of which some years since, upon search, were found to be 50,000 persons. 40,000 whites, my bad. So 40,000 whites and 20,000 blacks? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Are we not reading? It's an interesting thing here that in this page 398, chapter, I don't know what. I could look at my book, but I'm going fast now. Lastly, La Cruza Real, or the Crux Real, a few leagues distant from Panama, I believe, for the most part, inhabited a sort of Negro called cimarrones, meaning cimarrones. Now, if you read the book, the Black Indian, it mentions the cimarrones, meaning like these. They weren't. I guess they were like considered. Man, I'm telling you, I don't want to look for the book, okay? But I'll bring it up in another class. I promise. Maybe another round, I'll bring this up for sure, or remind me for sure. But they were called cimarrones in these areas, kind of like almost resembling like the Esmeraldas type, okay? Africans claiming to be natives. Along the north coast of Panama are two small woody islands called Cativa and Comadre or something like that, okay? Let's continue. Chapter, I believe, 19, page 387. Look at this. 1498, right? It is accounted 16 leagues long half as much as breadth, and was discovered by Columbus in his third voyage, the year of our Lord 1498, and was at first in great reputation in regards to the rich pearl fishing upon his coast, wherein the Spaniards more favorable, it seemed, to the natives of this place than usual, because of their readiness to discover their treasures, employed Negroes. Oh, these people were called Negroes. These people were called Negroes. Natives were there too. So are you telling me you natives, supposedly, were not? I mean, I don't understand, because you said that at this time they weren't considered Negroes. See what I'm saying? And if you guys look alike, how could they differentiate natives to Negroes? Look at this. Check this out. And let's see. In the year 1601, Captain Parker, with a fleet of English, put on shore here and took as many prisoners as he had 500 pounds of pearl for the ransom of I don't know what. And at his coming away, took a ship he met from off the coast of Angola, Africa, with 370 Negroes aboard her, who were going to be sold for slaves. What are we doing here? You are totally debunking your shit with this book. You're saying at this time, like, no, there was no trafficking people. The transatlantic wasn't true. The natives were not Africans. I'm telling you that right now. This is page, and again, you should read the book, 524, chapter 7, I think. The fleet, as it before mentioned, sailing from Sierra Leone, oh my God, Africa, came to an anchor at Comni and landed 1,200 men, a pequeña, besides 150 Negroes, which regiment Andres Veron and Aaron Jacobson carried to the Castildan mines, whither they before sent a company commanded by Hans Gerf, to prevent the sallies of the enemy. The Hollanders in 30 encamped themselves near the fort, and while some of the men were seeking for water, others smoking tobacco and lying without their arms and in disorder on the ground, and the commander were taking a view of the fort from neighboring hill, 200 Negro fell upon the fettered army with great rage and fury, and so much greater in regards to the Portuguese had promised them great sums of money for every Hollander they killed. You see this? Never any army was in such distraction, they being dispersed and killed like so many sheep. You see this right here? This book completely debunks everything you guys are saying. He, by company of Negroes that carried provisions, you see it already. I don't even have to get into it. The ship with Angolan Negroes. Again, chapter 7, page 539. I don't understand. Like, do you not read this book? Chapter 7, 541. With 500 men and 40 Negroes. See? Since 1492, you guys been coming and helping these people. And yes, some of you guys were in servitude, but not everybody. Look at this. January 1636, by a renegade Negro, the Spanish army, consisting of 300,000 men, were come to Rodrigo de Barros, his sugar mill, about 5 leagues from Baripero, something like that. Y'all can read it. But you're getting the point. I'm going through this book. She didn't do any of that. She gave you guys pictures. Try to claim, oh, well, this is who we are. Not really. No, like there's a big difference between the people of Africa and the people of the Americas. And the people of the Americas are not Africans, never looked African, never ate like Africans, never had the experience that we've had. So please stop it. Negroes inhabiting here, let's see, there we go. Okay, so we see a lot of this stuff, right? A Negro that served a Spanish captain. You see? You're saying that y'all came like slaves. No. You came with the Spaniards. Remember the Muslims and the Moors? Arab Moors, you know what I'm saying? Remember that shit? Come on, man. What are we doing here? A Negro that served a Spanish captain called Henrik Diaz being taken informed the Hollanders that the Spanish fleet was much weakened by a poisonous air on the coast of Africa. Whoa, he said Africa. She said that in the entire book, you will not find the word Africa. You will not find the word Africa. What up, brother? Good to have you here. I'll answer in a bit. Let me just finish. You know what? If it wasn't for this, man, I would have had a boxing channel. Let's put it that way. I boxed since I was 9 years old. Man, I'll lie. I was watching boxing since I was 9. I started boxing around 13, 14. And then, I don't do that shit now, but I wasn't that lucky with opportunity. Anyhow, so it says here, that the admiral was resolved with divided forces to burn all places he came at and receive the Negroes, Mamalukes, mulattoes, and Brazilians under his jurisdiction. What are you talking about? She literally said that not once does he mention Africa in this book, fam. She said it not once. If you search in the book, you won't find the word Africa. She fucking said that. So there you, that's one good example that she doesn't fucking read. None of these people do. Another word, Negro. Remember, there's several pictures, so I didn't want to go through the clicking on the page because, let me remind you, it takes a while, right? The Spanish king had, hold on, let me go back. Chapter 7, 573. The Spanish king, earlier it says Angola, regarding the Netherlands, fell upon the Portuguese where they met them. Moreover, several citizens returned to Loando and professed half their Negroes if they might have the liberty to be transported to St. Salvador with the other half, but it was judged more convenient to keep them. And by fair means also invited the rest, because it appeared by the Angolan accounts that the profit of the Negro trade amounted yearly to 56 tons of gold, and charges of garrisons and sittings of the ships being deducted from it. The Spanish king had yearly above 50,000 Negroes from hence to employ in his American mines. Look, in the book, Africa's gift to America, it also mentions this shit. Like, you guys came as conquistadors too. And yes, some of you guys were slaves. The majority of you were indentured servants, meaning that you would fight your way through that shit. If you could serve them, you would be free. That whole 1619 shit that's a lie. That's not the first time you stepped on this land. Chapter 7, 576. We're just kind of going on some quick pictures here. Look, in the interim, Gray Maurice had a design upon the city of Buenos Aires, South America, southern part of Brazil, near the River Plata, where a way leads by land to Peru, and whither the silver and Negroes were often brought, especially when any ships were suspected to block the channel of Panama. Again, Angola, Guinea, Africa. What are you talking about, woman? Is it really because you want to know about your heritage, or is it because you just want to collect money from your people? Chapter 7, 577. 200 Negroes, a golden collar, a pot, besides many Negroes for the West India Company. These agents desired aid against the Duke of Sombo, who treacherously plotted to drive the king out of Congo. So there was a king in Africa from Congo, which plots discovered by settered letters signed by blah, 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 blah. 2 agents from Congo were strong and black men, very active and having grim countenance, See what I'm saying? These ain't indigenous people, bro. This ain't indigenous people, man. You know what I'm saying? This is not indigenous people. Kaleno Crawford, you got? Oh yeah, you know who? Sorry, it's off the topic. It's all good. Shalom, brothers. Before saying anything, love and blessings to all. Yeah, I appreciate that. Good to have you here. But again, look at this, man. She said that you would not find Africa, that you would not find Negro. That here we see two agents from Congo, agents, African agents, were strong and black men. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Loando, Negro, like what's going on? Feel still by the let's okay. I think that's enough of that word. Let's see if we can find something else, or if that's it, or we're gonna move on. Let me see. Same thing. We already showed you that the word Africa is in there. That's for sure. The Negroes that worked in the sugar mills. Okay. All right. So now that I got through this, and again, look how many pages it were. Okay. Several pages. There must have been like maybe 19 pages, fam. All right. Now, the reason why I did that was because if you see here, it's very slow. It takes a while to load. So I would have spent so much more time doing this way than showing you the other way. Now, what they do is they use pictures like this. But even then, they don't look African, which boggles the mind because, when you see Egyptian sculptures that resemble like Africanish features, they do embrace that. But I don't get it. They're only basing it because this guy is like white. I mean, it's drawings. What are we doing here? Are you really that desperate? So what is this? Is this real? Is there like a dragon there and shit with a tail? Who is that? Is that Chupacabras? Is Chupacabras real? Is that real? Are you telling me that shit is here as well? You see this, family? So Ogilvy also drew humans, like animals that look like humans. So is that real too? What are we doing here? I'm going to show you one more picture and that's it. I'm going to move on because I'm going to show you something else. So again, you didn't show shit, okay? He does write about this right here, but you guys choose not to even look at that, not to consider it. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, sounds good. Doesn't matter, huh? All right, sounds good. Okay, so here we see a picture of Emperor of Morocco, whose mother was an unmixed Negro slave, had tens of thousands of white slaves. From a painting, 1670, see John Ogilvy's Africa. That's the writer that he's talking about. So here's the 7 myths of the Spanish conquest. And you start seeing this here. The sixth aspect of the conquest procedure was the use of display violence or the theatrical use of violence, despite the assistance of native allies and the use of African auxiliaries. Page 25. Another technique was the massacre of unarmed natives, whose effect was magnified of women, children, and elderly were killed, as in Cortez-led massacre in Cholula. Or if the victims were celebrants in the important native festivals or rituals, as it was in the Alvarado-led massacre in Tenochtitlan, or if the victims were confined by space or crowded together tight, in both of the cases, as well as the Pizarro-led massacre of Atahualpa, as John Ogilvy puts it in 1670, Spanish expeditions advanced with fear conquering more than slaughter. John Ogilvy is referenced in this book. This is the book that talked about how the Spaniards were assisted by Africans. I'm going to show you some stuff here. Life patterns of some black conquistadors. Juan Garrido, Sebastián Toral, Pedro Fulupo, Juan Bardales, Antonio Perez, Juan Garcia, Ruiz, Valiente, Beltrán, all of that. You didn't come as slaves only. Just as Juan Garrido had been called Mexico's only black conquistador, that's a lie. There was many. And the book, Africa's Gift to America, confirms it. So now, here's where it gets interesting. You see these pictures? These pictures are older than Ogilvy's pictures. Okay? Now they're not colored yet. Here. 1683. Well, I mean, that's the year they married. But these are older drawings than Ogilvy's drawings. This is from that book, I believe. Is it? Which one is it? Let me see the cover. I don't remember which one. So let's look at the features, right? This is what they go by. No, these can't be you guys. No, there's no way. Okay. What about these pictures? From 1579. That's not in your narrative. 7 Myths of Spanish Conquest. This is in your narrative. That is. This is there. But you know what's so funny? In that book, it has this picture too. This is an older picture too. I don't see your features there. What are you talking about? This is an older picture as well. Are they painted black? This is an older picture too. Here is one particular person, which is what I think this is Esteban, I believe. A black servant or slave, various Spaniards, black servant. This is the natives right here. Negro, native. You guys, come on, man. Are you telling me that this is what so-called African Americans look like? I will tell you what they did bring. Another first attributed to the African in Mexico was the bringing of smallpox to the mainland. Francisco de Eguía, one of the black slaves on the Narvaez expedition in 1520, remember, allegedly died of the disease soon after landing in the Mexican coast. Allegedly. Check this out. The Dominican chronicler Diego Duran, for example, mentions various servants and blacks, while the native count compiled by Sagahun known to us as Florentine Codex, simply notes that that with the Spaniards came some blacks. See? Sagahun wrote in Florentine Codex, simply notes that with the Spaniards came some blacks who had crispy hair, curled dark hair. Crispy, curled, dark hair. Two of the illustrations in Duran's account depict a black African beside Cortez. Figure 8. What are we doing here? As the first major conquerors on the mainland, the conquerors of Mexico helped to inspire and finance a flurry of Spanish expeditions through the Americas. All included African slaves and servants, many of whom, like Juan Garrido, okay, and Juan Valiente, became and continued to fight as conquistadors. Smallpox, measles, and flu meant that Europeans and Africans arrived in a new world with deadly array of germs. Both of you guys were fucking dirty. Disease moved through the Americas faster than germ-carrying European and Africans could. Fucking dirty. This is from Phoenician colonial islands. Let's see. I don't want to just show you random stuff because then it'll not get off topic, but see, like that I could show you, but it's like that's not my point right now. This is an example of what I showed you earlier, Diodorus Siculus. There was already people here. See, it says here, it was the custom of the inhabitants to retire during summer to magnificent country houses which stood in the midst of a beautiful garden. So they knew that there was people here, right? Okay, so now let me bring you back. Of course they did. This is from American Holocaust. And this is what they said when they saw Tenochtitlan. We saw so many cities and villages built on water. Built in the water, and other great towns built on dry land, and that straight and level causeway going towards Tenochtitlan. We were amazed and said that it was like the enchantment that they tell us in the legends of Amadís. That's why they try to say, like, califas. It's pinches pendejos, way. On the account of the great tower and temple and the buildings rising from the water, and all built of masonry. And some of the old soldiers even asked whether the things they saw were not a dream. So this is cities built on water. Let me not forget the point. Cities built on water. Diodorus Siculus, the source, says the same thing. That these people did see a land far away. The land is beautiful, it's fruitful, much of it being mountainous, being a level plain of surpassing beauty. Through it flows navigable rivers, which are used for irrigation. The island contains many parks planted with trees, and every variety and garden in great multitude, which are traversed by streams of water. On it also private villas of costly construction. And through the gardens, banqueting houses have been constructed on settlings of flowers. It's the same thing they saw here. Built on floating. And here we're talking about how it really looks like. Okay, this is from the American Holocaust. So all of this stuff that you read, all these so-called, fucking theories and shit. Diodorus Siculus, the native races of the Pacific state of North America. This is why they tried to claim fame that don't belong to that name. Y'all are Africans, man. You're just going to have to fucking deal with it. And I believe what you hate is the fact that you're mostly West African, which means you're Canaanites. If you don't believe in the Bible, then just be who you are, but don't try to claim who you're not. Like, this is silly. Look at this. Additional names of the empires of the Moors. Atlantans, Atlanta. You see what I'm saying? So they're everybody. Phoenicians, Gaetulians, Carthaginians, Mauritanians, Moroccans, Nubians, Saracens, Turks, Ottomans, Hindus, Hessians, French, Spaniards, Prussians, everybody. Okay, so now this is from pictures that I showed you. These are older than, first, they're real, true perspective of people, and older than Ogilvy's. What do we see here, family? What are you going to do? You're going to say these are morenos and shit? Like African people? No, bro, you stupid. And this is why you don't use these pictures. You don't use these pictures because it doesn't fit your narrative. Look at our people. I mean, those are not our people, but they're kind of tawny morenillos and shit, right? They're all dressed up as soldiers, and you know what I'm saying? You see all that. This is a more newer picture. Look at these guys here. See the skin tone? Look at this. This is why they don't use it. You see? You see, this is Moctezuma meeting the Spaniards. It doesn't fit your narrative. That's why you ignore these pictures. That's the reason. Let me go back. Now, I read you the book. I'm showing you pictures. Because that's technically, you're supposed to do that. Captain Cortés, echar las raos a pique, correnles soldados. I think it's in Italian. Look at this, or Latin. What are we doing here, family? Huitzilopochtli, I believe. Moctezuma. These are older pictures, older pictures than Ogilvy's fake picture. They don't look African. Not one bit. Not one bit. Whatsoever. See, you don't use these because it doesn't favor you. Because you see, that's a Mexican right there. Sort of, you know, just an example. Right? What do you see? See Spaniards. These are older pictures. Look at this here. Are you going to use these now? You're going to say you're these people? Look, he's got little round hair. Are you going to say that? And who are these guys then? Unless, what are we doing here? Who are you carrying? Newer pictures. This is a very interesting one here. Look at this. We saw this already. Look at this here. I don't know how old this picture is. But you see that it's not current. This is from the Tenochtitlan War. See those people? See this? What are we doing? Look at these pictures. I don't see any African natives. Look at these pictures. Do these people look African to you? They're brown. If I go by your logic, then that would mean they're African, right? Or whatever you call yourself. Because apparently you don't even like them now. You guys are fighting your own people. You're fighting your mamas. Like for real. You're fighting your root. Look at this picture right here. Look at this variety of skin tone. From brown to light brown. Look at that. Why are we ignoring these pages? These are old. They're not new. They're not from 1800. They're brown. Are they African? Look at that dark guy. Is he African? They're dark. Are they Africans? They're more reddish. Look at this right here. Are you saying he's African? Or so-called? What are we doing, fam? This is even more very interesting. Let me see if I can get a better picture of him. Yep. Look at this guy. He's brown. Is he African? Are these people African? See, we don't go by pictures here. We go by facts. This is the other book that Samuel Morton wrote that these wobbles get confused by because of this explanation right here. Right here. They ignore all this here. Undeviatingly. So what it's basically saying is that if you see an Indian, you see an Indian all over the Americas. Just like if you see a Negro, you see a Negro all over the Africas. That's what it means. That's what it means. That's why it says, for whatever you see a native. You don't see a Negro. And in the previous page, it gives you an example, an idea of what the hell's going on here. They all possess alike the long, lank, black hair. Not woolly. Full and compressed lips, meaning thick lips, thin lips. I tend to have thin lips. My wife has thick lips. Cinnamon color. Brown or cinnamon color. So he's saying, what can it be traced to Polynesians, Mongolians, Hindus, Jews, or Egyptians? He don't even say Africans. Okay? Here he's like, could I compare them to Egyptians, Jews, Hindus, Mongolians, or Polynesians? Huh? He's not even saying any comparison with Africa here. My God, he debunks your shit quick. All you got to do is read. Just read for once. Look at this. Body characteristics. And they had long, thick, black, coarse hair. These islanders, Haitians, were of medium height, but well-shapen. Their colors are reddish. And I'm not talking about Haiti like today, okay? Now, this is way before they came. The face being a gross and hideous. Their nostrils very open. The hair on the head long, not woolly, but absent to the rest of the body. Hardly any forehead. The teeth dirty and black, and an indescribable fierceness of the eye. The color of the skin was partly due to the constant, the color of the skin was partly due to a constant application of pigment and the heat of the sun, to which their naked bodies were always exposed. The color of the skin was partly due to a constant tanning. I grew up in Oceanside. I used to go down to the beach a lot, try to bodyboard, or just chill out there, and I would get really tanned. And I would use oil and mix it with not iodine, but the chemical you use to cure cuts that they use at the hospital. I figured out a way to mix it, so when I would apply it, I would get a little more of a brownish golden tan. Like, I didn't know any better. I was a kid trying to figure out how to look better. I didn't mind having dark skin or brown skin. My brothers are darker than me. It didn't matter to me. I liked it. I like my skin. I liked it lighter or browner. I liked the fact that I could change it. Let's continue. In 1520, according to the letter of the Baltazar de Castro, 5 canoes of Caribs with 150 men landed at the mouth of the Homacao at the eastern end of the islands, burned houses and killed several men, Spaniards, and natives. In 1529, on the 18th of September, in the middle of the night, 8 great canoes of Carib entered the bay or harbor of San Juan. They were where they killed 3 Negroes. You see? Then it says on the bottom, after being captured, killing several men and women and carrying 25 Negroes. Supposedly they were going to eat them after. So these natives were being distinct from these so-called Negroes. The Aborigines of Puerto Rico. That's a book. You can look it up. The Aborigines of Puerto Rico. So this is for my Taino brothers. Like, you guys didn't look like no Africans, dude. This is from Crania Americana, debunking copper-colored skin. I've read it so many times, I just want you guys to take a picture of it. Just take a picture of it. It debunks it. It literally says that, no, they're more cinnamon color. We're not copper colored. You can't describe us as copper colored. Matter of fact, you can describe more of that to other people, meaning Africa or Africans. Traveled in the valley of Mississippi. I guess that's what it is. So here we see the mane of a lion, like cinnamon, kind of brownish, right? Okay. See. Also, for you guys that read the Bible, when you see a goat, see they say like wool, like a goat, like a sheep, like wool, like a sheep's wool. Well, this is a sheep and it has wool, but it ain't curly. What are we talking about? Let me see if this is, there was some I just wanted to get through. Oh, here it goes. Man, I wish I knew what book this was, fam. I don't have it, but I want to read it to you. It says here, their natural complexion is a copper color or orange tawny, like cinnamon brown, like lion's mane. Their eyebrows are naturally black as jet. They use no art to deepen the color either of their eyebrows or the hair of their head, but they dub it with oil to make it shine. For like other Indians, they anoint themselves all over, whether for beauty, to make the skin smooth and sleek, or to supple it and keep it from parching, meaning like, sunburn, and you get a sunburn. Your skin starts peeling and shit, and it hurts if you don't oil it. Or to hinder too much precipitation in the hot country. I know not. It says, there is one complexion so singular among a sort of people in this country that I never saw nor heard of any like them in any part of the world. The account will seem strange, but any privateer who have gone over the Isthmus might have seen them and can attest the main of what I am going to relate, though few have the opportunity of so particular in information about these people as I have. They are white, and they are of them of both sexes. Yet there are but few of them in comparison of the copper-colored, possibly but 1 or 2 of 300. They differ from other Indians chiefly in respect of color. So not because the way they look, just the skin tone, though not in that only. Their skins are not of such a white as those of fair people among Europeans, with some tincture of a blush or sanguine complexion. Neither yet is their complexion like that of our paler people, but this rather a milk white, lighter than the color of any European, and much like that of the white horse. See what I'm saying? For there is this further remarkable in them, that their bodies are beset all over, more or less with a fine short milk white down, which adds to the whiteness of their skin, for they are not so thick set with this down, especially on the cheek and forehead. But the skin appears distinct. I don't know what. So anyways, remember I showed you this picture here? And remember this picture with Samuel Morton debunks the whole copper color and how it's more like cinnamon, nearest approach to it, right? Still not accurate. Okay. This is what he's talking about, cinnamon. This is a lion's mane, okay? The skin tone. Like my skin tone in the summer would be like this. brown, like, you know what I mean? It would be like that, okay? So now check this out. This is from a book I have in Spanish. I have it in English too. But it says here, era esta gente de mediana estatura, bien proporcionados, las caras no muy hermosas por tenerlas anchas, el color de la carne que tira a rubia como los pelos de león. And it says here, de manera que hacer y andar vestidos serían poco menos blancos que nosotros. So it says that, you know, if it wasn't because they are wearing clothes, we would probably be not that lighter skinned than they. So a lot of our people were not necessarily dark skinned. Most of the time, like it says here, we would use bear grease to protect us from, you know, blisters or blistering. And again, what is the narrative here? We went through a lot of material, family, lots of it. I gave you historical backgrounds, purpose, meaning, debunking so-called truth. This is fake bullshit here. And we've seen Diodorus Siculus confirm that. So when you go into our history, you better know what you're talking about. Because to me, it's like you're trying to take food away from the plate of our children. Why do I say that? Well, what heritage or history can I give them if you motherfuckers are trying to steal it? Right. If I work hard for my family and I find out you're stealing our food, it's no different than you trying to steal our heritage. It's no different. Let me see if I can get to a certain point here. Hold on a second. It's like, what are we doing?
All right, let's dive into this, man. This is a topic I find very interesting.
We're not from Africa, we are natives. This our land, we are known by the slave ships. We're not from Africa, we indigenous. I need you to listen, I need you to be getting this. We not black, know your story, family history, that's stats. We not black, that's a curse. Let's put this curse to rest and be blessed, yes.
Is this not sign?
Okay. All right, let's see. I started talking about reparations, which I started doing that last year.
He truly believes that black people are the real Native Americans.
Hey, brother, you are African, brother. You lost your African mind, brother. Come back to Africa, brother. And I asked him, motherfucker, have you ever been to Africa? They say no, but it's the motherland. I say, why your ass ain't never been there? Well, I don't know. I'm like, get your delusional ass on. See these people right here?
That's a silly argument.
Who do they look like? Don't they look like me and you?
Okay.
You see how they have afros and braids just like me and you?
Okay.
These are the indigenous people of Colombia, America, Costa Rica, Mexico, Canada, Brazil, and the entire Bahamas.
Okay. You're just making statements, though.
Just a quick question. If we were actually the Native Americans, what would that change? Not a damn thing. We still facing systemic racism. We still having problems in the community, and y'all worrying about being
always trying to explain.
It is okay to have African descent.
And I'm not going to be around here trying to explain who we are, what we are. Y'all already know who we are. Y'all always trying to, key in with y'all slave masters so y'all can jump into our spot. You can't get our spot. Y'all never will be like us.
Y'all be too grown believing in this bullshit, man. You about 50 years old, you got grandkids. This man that went on AliExpress and bought a Native American costume. What are we doing? I hate bringing up other races and how they perceive us, but man, this is a bad motherfucking look.
It is an insult. We're the Native Americans here. Instead of being called African American, what would you prefer? Native American. Because we are the natives here. And they've gotten us to believe that we're from somewhere else.
How about the...
I mean, the genetics, bro. Just go do the DNA test. See who you...
Is a motherfucking truth. funny shit, huh? We no black, we no black, we no black. I don't believe our brother Guaracuya is here. He's Dominican. I know that Dominicans, camps used to make fun of him because they used to say, me no black, me no black. Me Dominican.
You more genetically related to Native Americans or West Africans?
Indians.
You more European than you are. You're more of a white.
That's fire. Oh, shit. Hold on a second.
Fuck that puto. Fuck that puto.
Hey, young man, what's your name? Young Don Reacts? Bro, thank you. You couldn't have said it any better. Hold on a second. I want to hear this again.
Or West Africans.
Yeah,
Believe that we're from somewhere else. How about
the genetics, bro. Just go do the DNA test. See who you're more genetically related to, Native Americans or West Africans.
Indians.
You more European than you are. You're more of a white man than you are a Native American, bro. That's just the reality of the situation.
Native Indian. Do you regard them as natives too, or you're more native than them? We're more native than them.
Interesting. Now, I'm sorry to be the one to say this, and I don't want to put a bad rep out there to the Native Americans, but many of them owned slaves and did.
Yeah, no, that was a big thing, man.
Not like black people.
So I've been educating myself, and you know what I found out? So this isn't talked about often, but we know that many Native Americans enslaved black people in this country.
Right.
And the 5 tribes profited off slavery so much so that they fought for the Confederacy to keep slavery alive on Native land.
Crazy.
Until when the Civil War ended and the Emancipation Proclamation was signed and slaves were supposed to be immediately free as of 1863, you know what? Slavery did not end for black people on Native American lands until 1866.
That's
We
insane,
talk about
dude.
Juneteenth and how slaves...
3 years. 3 years after slavery was ended, right, abolished in America, did it take for the Native Americans to come up off of them slaves?
So I missed what they were saying, but I mean, let's be honest. This total bullshit, because I could bring you back to actual facts that you guys were the ones fighting for slavery to be kept. You were enslaving your own people. You were enslaving white folks. You were enslaving natives. Shut the fuck up. I'm not letting you guys go on this shit no more. White people and black people, you need to stop the fucking game. The only way that you can come to the conclusion of some kind of peace is when you both admit that you both work together. And that one fucked the other eventually in 1865. That's what it was. And you've been complaining since that time. It's it. You lost the power. That's the problem. So when you guys can both come to the conclusion of what the fuck occurred, you're still going to sound stupid. Black and white folks, you've been enslaving people since 1492. This is historical. When you stop the game, things will start clearing up.
Cherokee. She was owned by the Cherokee. It's crazy because you can even just take an ancestry test. And what a lot of black Americans will find out is that they have more European DNA than any Native American.
I got my ancestry DNA results back.
See, and here's the thing you need to understand, though, why this is significant, the genetics portion. When you take the genetic sample of a Native American from one tribe, and then you take the genetic sample of other Native American tribes, even though they're different tribes separated by hundreds of miles, we see a lot of genetic similarities. We see a strong genetic connection. See, when you take a look at the genes of all the native people from America all the way down to South America, North America to South America, they all have a very strong genetic tie back to a group of people who would have come from Serbia via the Bering Strait.
Serbia, Bering Strait, so-called DNA. But then they don't realize that that actual branch, if you go back further from Serbia, is actually somewhere else. So at what point does it only Serbia? It's like, oh, well, I'm going to just consider you in Serbia. No. We go all the way back. I done my DNA, and I can prove this shit. Maybe I'll show it after this.
Between 10 to 20,000 years ago, you take a look at all of the people that were regarded as.
By the way, I don't believe that shit. I do believe in the book. So now 20,000, that's not fucking true. You can't even fucking figure that out, bro. There's no science that can prove that.
As indigenous from Alaska individual African Americans who can find some Native American
back. And that's why they thought we were by my family that we were. Oh, let me tell you. I've been told my entire life by my family that we were Native American. Probably slaves to Native American. That's why they thought we were Native American.
Right.
Because I got my results back. And let me tell you, 48% Nigeria, 18% Congo.
Let me read that shit. 48% Nigerian, 18% Cameroon, which is, let's just say, round it off, 50, 20, 70%. Mali, 10%, 80%. Bani, 8%, let's say almost 90%. Ivory Coast puts you at 90%. Then you got white blood in you. But it's very little. 6, 7, 9, 10, 11. So you're, what, 89% so-called African? Shit. Gosh. But now they're going to say, well, maybe we were, because we were slaves. You see, you're dead. You're going to find some angle. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck?
Cameroon, West African people, 10% Mali, 8% Guinea and Togo, 5% Ivory Coast and Ghana, 5% Scotland, 2% Wales, 2% England and Northern Europe, 1% Sweden, 1% Spain. So basically, I'm just a typical American.
I will say this: there are some black, except deep down, this is that internalized hate. Being labeled anything but black is better.
So real quick, I just needed to create this video because Africans keep commenting under my videos telling me that they are Hebrews. No, Africans are not Hebrews. Like, who lied to you? It seems like everyone knows Africans are cursed besides the Africans.
Oh, God.
You're not Hebrews. You're actually the descendants of Ham, the ones who have the curse. We black people have experienced all kinds of hatred here in America because the white man was thinking that we were you. The white man has been thinking that we were the descendants of Ham, the ones who were cursed, when all along it's you.
But that's not how the curse worked. The curse it doesn't matter what other people think about you. If you are cursed, then you would experience the curse. It wouldn't matter if somebody confused you for somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Africans, you are cursed.
Before I dissect anything, I want to bring this up.
Bro, it's like me saying I'm African, bro. And I don't look like that at all.
So why y'all sitting up here, like I said, the reason why our people in the predicament they're in, you look at these neighborhoods around here, and you see a lot of decay, a lot of abandonment, you see a lot of poverty out here. You know why that is? You know why it is? Because our people have accepted that they're black people.
Hell yeah, bro. It's because we put a label on ourselves. It's not because of things like redlining and the war on drugs and most of the families having no father in it or the gang violence. It's because we labeled ourselves as black people and not Jews. So we on TikTok right now, and I want y'all to follow my Antonio Speaks.
So that's what he says. I'm almost done, fam. Look at this shit right here.
Native Americans are fake Indians. They're not from America. They come from Siberia, which is in Asia. When these Siberians came over here, white people in the government paid them to pretend to be Indians in order to steal my people's land and keep black people from knowing that we are the true Indians.
Okay, come again. Crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. I like this video. I want to just remind you, and then I think let me see. Let me put it here first. Give me a second. Let me go here. Let me see if I got anything else to show. I'll show it another day. Yeah, man. I mean, it's gotten so bad. It's gotten so bad that they literally hate themselves. So if I were you, family, this is a time of reflection. Fuck no. Just be mindful of what's going on with these people. Just be mindful. They are so flipped upside down, they don't even know what the fuck to believe anymore. I mean, literally, instead of y'all teaching your people some real facts about who you are, like real important books, you prefer to believe lies. I mean, you guys always bring up Ivan Sertima. Ivan Sertima basically says who you guys are. Show you guys just a little bit, and that's it. Look, this is crazy. So now look, this is a trip to me. This is crazy. Check it out. Check it out.
So much rhetoric about divisiveness between African.
She got these damn Harry Potter glasses on, like she finna cast a spell on somebody. We already starting off on some BS.
There's been so much rhetoric about divisiveness between Africans and African Americans, or let's just say African Americans and Black Americans, because that is what they want to be called now. They refuse to be identified as African descendants. And let me not say all of Black Americans, but majority of them are now showing their ass about how they feel about being called African American, or even having a proximity to be of African descent. And let me just remind you that I, as an African American whose family is descended from West Africa, Ivory.
So you came on, you made a video and said Black Americans have an issue with being called African American. And then right after that, because that's historically been an ethnic group specifically for us. But then right after that, you say as a African American. So how do you become that person's ethnic group when you move there? How do I become a Nigerian just because I moved to Nigeria or I'm born in Nigeria? I may be a citizen of the country Nigeria.
Funny, it's kind of like the same thing what you're doing. How do you claim to be a native if you were not necessarily from here? Like, that's your argument. But the same argument that you're using, it's the same fucking belief that you carry on your shoulder and looking dumb.
Nigeria, my ethnicity didn't change. So you already off your rails, lady. You already off your rails. Let's keep going.
Coast. When I go into a doctor's office, a job application, or anything that requires for me to identify my race, it says African American, Black American, but it does not differentiate which is which. We are in one category. So for you,
and that's the problem. We're in one category. That's the problem. And it wasn't a problem before. It didn't start becoming a problem until after the 1960s, when your Bushmeat family came over here and started to say that you were us. That became the problem. We don't do what you do. We don't eat what you eat. We don't listen to what you listen to. We don't talk like you. We don't dress like you. We don't act like you. We don't have the same history. We don't have the same culture. We don't have the same ancestors. We don't have the same blood running through us. We don't have the same rebellious spirit to fight against oppression. We do. You don't.
So he's not African. Thick lips, big nose. Same shit. The only reason you're light skinned is because you're white. You see, this is not I'm not angry anymore. For real, I'm not angry anymore. So I'm gonna end it with this brother right here. He's got a good message. Oh, and by the way, I will be doing this class. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow, but more likely next week. I may do it tomorrow. I've been wanting to tackle this shit for quite some time now. I have the class ready, set, go, man. It's going to be heavy duty. Other than that, you guys have a good night. Hope it was informative. Please jot down all the books I brought out. I brought a lot of books out. We got to debunk this stupid funk, man. We got to just continue to debunk the funk. And enjoy it at the same time. You got to enjoy this shit. Because at this moment, what else can we do? Have a good night.
Next time someone tells you that they are an Aboriginal or that Black people was in America before slavery, know that you are talking to a crack baby who probably smoked crack as an adult too. Okay? So that's Next time someone tells you that they are an Aboriginal or that Black people was in America before slavery, know that you are talking to a crack baby who probably smoked crack as an adult.
Shit was funny. I thought it was funny. So I guess we're talking to crack babies. Crack babies. I hope it was edifying. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe. And don't unsubscribe because you get emotional, man. You either subscribe or you don't. Let's continue to grow this channel, man. It's growing according to what it should be done. I'm glad a lot of people got influence and they got a lot of subscribers now. All praise to the Most High for that shit. But you damn well know that fire came through this channel first. And nobody was pushing it the way I was pushing it. And I've been doing this since 2022. So put some little bit of that remembrance on that shit. Y'all have a good night.
Yeah. Kings. Yeah. Coming straight out of the Nile. I'ma tell you about a great big liar. Yeah, Egyptians were not white. Them college niggas ain't right. Built the pyramid. Look at them lips. Look at them hips. That booty so round. You know that girl be brown.
So you mean that we was like, whoa?
We was kings and shit. Boy, you know that it is true. We was kings and shit. Nigga, what you gonna do? Ramses was black. Tutankhamun was black. Y'all know Cleo was black. Who made it into space? Nigga, that was the black race.
You're welcome.
They're covering it up in the books. Bunch of cracker-ass crooks.
Tell it again.
You can even go out of Egypt. Find out who the real chosen people. Mozart, Beethoven, King George, Vikings. They was all black.
We was kings and shit. Boy, you know that it is true. We was kings and shit. Nigga, what you gonna do? So what you saying is like, but what you all talk about is, do you mean that we was like, what? Her ancestors, blood ran through us, the hooligan battle of pressing oils. Just remember this one little thing. We was kings and shit, but you know that it is true. We was kings and shit. Nigga, what you gonna do? I don't even know what I'm saying no more, dude. Shit.
Across the block, Kaheb, Belajah, where I get my chala. Who reporting live from the universe? It's the First Nations MC. You could do the search. Who been through the worst? Surviving genocide, fighting for a better life. They try to set aside the true history and keep us mystical. They say they founded this country on biblical principles. It's so cynical, but I'm an analyst. It's murderous. They refer to us as merciless. Indian savages. Now that's written in the Declaration of Independence. That's no kidding. Hey, open up your heart and let love lead the way. Light your path with the words that I speak today. Let the lessons flow, arrive and bless your soul. Systematic racism alive, intentional. Know better, do better, it's the motto. It's the good medicine, the hard pill to swallow. Know better, do better, it's the motto. It's the good medicine, the hard pill to swallow.
His daily life was filled with ceremony, and every act had some significance. The Indians believed in the spiritual, the mysterious.
Every man's heart one day beats its final beat. His lungs breathe their final breath. And if what that man did in his life makes the blood pulse through the body of others, it makes them bleed deeper in something than larger than life, then his essence, his spirit will be immortalized.
You think you know me? Entering the ring like a heavyweight champion. Legendary king like my name is Fred Hampton. Vision of a sniper, Dino in my fibers. I can see the truth, no Rowdy Piper. Black Brown Messiah, one-on-one with the colonizer. Ropes on fire, tombstone pound driver. Disciples assemble in Mayan symbols deciphered. Sacred prayers delivered, fulfill fate's desires. As the crowd gets louder, feels wild nostalgic. Lift 'em up, gorilla press, fearless as a falcon. Catch the BX live on BBC. That's when I hit 3DTs with DDTs. El Patron without Patron. For sovereignty, we work hustles. And cross the border like take on the turnbuckle. Hit 'em with a spear, then a chair. Let 'em chair, administer my finisher, the signature, and it's severe.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Check.
You think you know me?
Abysmal with a pistol. Execute corporatists in front of poverty. I mean, lyrically, I'm twisted, sea demon. Heretic embellishing the savagery repeatedly. Stabbing chest cavity. I run with the spirits, they burn at the stake. Curse you until death. Like Hod's way, we build raw ambush, mercenary convoys. Fallujah, oh forward, I'm on boy. Fuck Judge Dredd, leave a judge dead. Break down gates of heaven, leave them all red. Yes, the rhythm, the rebel. B-boy, changing levels, shooting for a double. Like a barrel, leave them riddled, let the rodents fiddle. In your vicinity, public enemy smashing. Burn it all down, see what grows from the ashes. Native threat, KF. Hell yeah, they don't know what time it is. Yeah, get this shit.
You think you know
The
first
infinite earth resistance grew out the 818 with persistence. Grooves to the hate they throw with my mission. Born to flip what they did with theirs. I'm only mad cause I care. I'm only mad cause I know what's out there. And it ain't fair. They grab a mask and a spear. I'm unattached to the fear. Fuck I look like sipping on a colonizer beer. Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. Talking about a virus. Y'all act like you got closed eyelids. And what I find is they don't know what the time is. I'm an ancestor, I am timeless. I look within and the answers I find them. I'm not lost, I know the cost. Robbery is haunting me. I'm Undertaker, choke slam the boss. Leave you hung in the ring, I don't give a fuck. And that's what's up, to the day I'm done. Cause no one
escape death. Death's got the focus all around us. And the ancestors are with us. So Hawan, put your feathers on and let them know what's up.
You think you know
This is Dance Aztec, our ceremony on the campus by the marigold flowers is where we lead the dances. I'm at war with Anglo-Saxons and our weapons have landed. Pre-Hispanic savage, turn them Yankees into ashes. It's revenge for the sanctions that they put on Venezuela. En el Tahuantín suyo, el cóndor vuela. Plumas tied to the blower from a scarlet ibis. My medicine bag carries dreams inside it. Flower making preparation for the day of the dead. The reputation of my nation's what I swore to defend. The promise of death is what the mask represents. The liquor isn't needed to put me at ease. You can't wear my mascara, it belongs to a king. Y'all was taught to love the US, I was raised a little different. I was taught to keep the fucking colonizers to a distance. Them gringo spies wanna know who sent us. You'll have to take my life before you take my feathers.
I'm out on bail, the sheriffs try to unmask me. Sister in arms, Frosty, talk to him, hermana.
You think you
Ain't
know
got no papers for you to funnel me into your system. Assimilate my soul to psychological prison. Fuck your religion and all the blood on its hands. Your secret cemeteries where the spirits still dance. They offered money for our heads, put targets on our backs. So we lived in the shadows, whispering plans of attack. Who withdraw, you react. A gabacho gets slapped. Step back, motherfucker, you don't know me like that. This is my form of decreement of broken social agreements. You baby bloodsucking leeches, pervert political leaders, sinning as hard as the preachers. Only God can judge how your heart full of hate, but your mouth speaking love. I don't need to go to heaven, see I'm calling all your bluff. Maybe we can stop pretending, see my people had enough. Yes, all one love, but you still gotta duck. Better watch the way you move before they get you with the Yeah, that's right. Women are freedom fighters too. Navy Jones, you know what the fuck to do.
You think you know me?
Jewish Mr. Diamond Moolah with the dirty ruga. Yo soy boricua, still a nigga with a sick medulla. My skin's a sin, the jinx be trying to genocide. A real nigga, and I say that with pride. This is it, boy. The new age revolution fighters get a grip, boy. Shooting in and out the gym, the clips don't miss, boy. I'm moving stealth like a real shooter. Might drop a bomb on a border wall abuser. Unify the people was Pride and Fred Hampton. Climbing up a ladder, took an axe to my stanchion. Didn't know that I would bounce back deadly fashion. Mask on, stash it, pistol blast and passion. They say you could be anything that you put your mind to, but mind you, since the boat had a mouth full of swan dude. Jaganator coming through like Macho Man and UT. With a Booker T, you cross us wrong, you go 6 feet.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, is that who's that Rex? Okay, let's go. Yeah, Rex, check these motherfuckers out here.
You think you know me?
Don't bother Rex, rip your heart from your chest. You want pain? Well then I leave my name carved in your flesh. They say sleep is the father of death. Why would you bother the best? I keep a bag of tools, carpenter vet. I clothesline, so I just slaughter the rest. Dainos and Aztecs, blast text if I send out this mass text. I fight sobriety, mass stress. I'm trying to move the culture forward. Conscious aura, death to who came before us. In blood I paint the forest, then cover my face, absorb it. Feel the torment of my bloodline. Sacrificed, I'm a martyr, free Palestine. And if the media too promotes slander, that's what the media do. Instead of exposing the truth, we get shot and killed, controlled like a zoo. But let nationalists march the Capitol holding the noose. I lace my boots and prepare for the rivalry. The spirits inside of me guiding me. Man, they gotta be the God of me. Hey yo, Jag, Dre, I see the play. Building an army of indigenous snipers. Salute to the comrades. Eyes on Molly, talk to them.
You think you know me?
Phonetic aggression, poetic aggression. My sharpened bone helped me pass through the metal detector. When I die, hope the flowers in the ghettos connected. So you'll be lost in the puddle of ancestral nectar. Listen, the mangoes grow in the ground that I walk on. My battle scars now have became my sakya. Carrying my lyrics like I turned to an Oscar. You can meet me somewhere in the middle of Aslan. The Molotov cocktail, we're hating the cop car. Whether you're screaming Omidale or Allahu Akbar. When I'm coming to kill you, believe it or not spar. Whether you hit the right jab or down with the southpaw. Keep going, we're living inside a world that's without stars. Clouds fall, the child's tears going all out war. Why you think I keep the mask inside of the house for? What you know about less in the day in the outdoors? Pulling with the mask and I feel like I'm Jack War.
Manifest destiny. I'm your enemy, your natural enemy. Manifest destiny. We are your enemies, your natural enemies, your natural enemies, your natural enemies, your natural enemy.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Tu cuerpo se queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros ante esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú. Tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.